It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacy, Jeff, Ant, they're all here. The whole gang's here. Of course, we're going to talk about Facebook's testimony, or the whistleblower's testimony yesterday in front of Congress. Should Facebook declare moral bankruptcy? What is to be done? The Pixel 6 price has been leaked. It seems like a pretty good leak. Stacy is excited. We'll also talk about putting your blog on the blockchain. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 632, recorded Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. It's No Sudoku. This Week in Google is brought to you by Our Crowd. Our Crowd helps accredited investors invest early in pre-IPO companies alongside professional venture capitalists. Join the fastest growing venture capital investment community at ourcrowd.com/twig. And by Udacity. Get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. Visit udacity.com/twit and get 75% off any program with the code TWIT75. Limited time offer. And by Cashfly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with Cashfly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. It's time for Twig This Week in Google. I'm Leo Laporte, and joining me on the panel, the regulars, Stacy Higginbotham from StacyOnIoT.com. Hello, Stacy.
Hello, y'all.
Hello. Good to see you. I had all these chip questions for you, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Uh-oh.
She's our chip, undersea cable, and IoT expert. In infrastructure.
Just go with deep infrastructure.
Yeah.
Deep physical infrastructure.
Yeah, she loves the infrastructure. Also with us, Jeff Jarvis. He loves the written word. Hello, Jeff.
Text. Hello.
He loves the book. He's also the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the
Newmark
Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. That was
that goes falsetto.
Jingle worthy.
Very Four Seasons.
Yes. Yes. I was trying to think of something, a Four Seasons, something like crank like a man. I don't know. I can't. That's Aunt Pruitt, who's doing the Four Seasons voices today from
a really bad falsetto.
Hands-on Photography.
Not at all. Not at all.
He is also the community manager at our fabulous Club Twit and has arranged, I don't know how you did it, an AMA with Steve Gibson, which is, that's never happens.
It'll be more of a fireside chat, but we will take some questions. So
okay. Oh, so Steve's already told you I'm not answering any questions.
Yeah, he said, "No, dude, get out of here."
He's really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, he is. He is, and he's popped into the Discord to acknowledge everyone.
Oh,
say,
good.
Hey,
Oh, nice. What time will that be?
That'll be 10 a.m. Pacific time, sir, on Friday, October 8th.
Friday morning, and it'll be recorded, and you can hear it on the Twit Plus feed, I presume.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So Twit Plus and the Discord are all features of Club Twit, which is our little membership thing, our little attempt to get kind of listener support. And if you are a listener and you want to support us and you want to hear the Steve event coming up this Friday, it's easy enough. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit and sign up. Costs you $7 a month. You do it. There are a lot of benefits. You get ad-free versions of all of our shows. You get the Discord access, and Discord is fabulous. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff. It's like a chat room for all the shows, but it goes on all the time. So it's not just during the shows. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the Discord. And then there's that special Twit Plus feed, which is stuff that doesn't make it to the podcasts, like the Giz Fizz and the Linux show and so forth.
And our Discord friends were putting up all kinds of possible stories. I added one to the rundown from what I saw in the Discord.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our IRC people do that too. And it's
exactly.
It's I sometimes call it the Scooter X changelog because
That would be correct, sir.
Scooter X finds like 20 more things new at Google every week. So good. Thank you for everybody who participates. We have a wonderful community, and I appreciate it. So again, this Friday, 10 a.m., if you're not a member of Club Twit and you want to attend, go to twit.tv/club twit. Wow, this was a very busy week. I kind of almost want to start with the Facebook stuff. Facebook was down, of course, on Monday, which I know the timing's a little suspicious, given that it was the next day after Frances Haugen, we now know who the whistleblower was, went on 60 Minutes, and then the day before she testified in front of the Senate, and I think fairly damning testimony. Facebook, The Verge said, took a page out of Big Tobacco by, instead of addressing her accusations, attacking her. And that, I think is a little bit frustrating. Facebook's...
That's very common.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you take out a whistleblower.
Yeah. And so I think that's a little unfortunate.
Kara Swisher asked Alex Stamos what they should have said, and he had a wonderful statement saying, basically, we brought in people like her to work on these issues, and it's too bad she's not still there working on them. But we're trying to do this and that. They could have done it differently.
Right. There was nothing they could say. There was really nothing they could say.
That definitely would have given them a little better light, though.
This is
basically saying, hey, we acknowledge these are our concerns and we want to make this better. And she is clearly qualified for this. But nope, she's
Elizabeth
gone. When you're
Lopato.
evil,
Yeah.
you can't just stop being evil.
It's hard to stop,
I mean,
isn't it?
It's part of your MO.
addictive.
You're like, how do we do this? Discredit her.
Today, Facebook wrote, a Senate Commerce Subcommittee held a hearing with a former project manager at Facebook who worked for the company for less than 2 years, had no direct reports, never attended a decision point meeting with C-level executives, and testified more than 6 times.
What the heck is that, brother?
Yeah, I don't know. 6 times to not working on the subject matter in question.
But she had documents.
Yeah.
And the documents were sufficient. Yeah, they don't play these things well. They don't know how to. I mean, I was thinking all week, this is very much a Stacey moment of, well, we need a conversation. And this has caused a conversation. And to me, what's more interesting than even what she said is the conversation around it, right? And a lot of people are afraid after the testimony. What I heard from the people I trust, like Masnick and Jeff Kosseff and Nate Persley and Kate Klonick and Daphne Keller and all those folks, is we could be heading toward kind of a government disinformation arm, which in the wrong hands could be really scary. And so there were things about it that might head the wrong way, but there were things that need to be discussed. Nate Persley had a great op-ed. I put in all kinds of takes on this. Everybody had a take on this, and was suggesting legislation around transparency of data. I think that's my hope is that's what comes out of this, is a structure for transparency of data so researchers can find out what the real impact is. And that would be the conversation.
I
the
think
data
they need to ban Finsta right here, right now. And then it'll be okay. So this is the reason I understand why
Will you commit to banning?
How long have they been
people,
running Finsta, sir?
I really understand why people are reluctant to let Congress weigh on in this.
Yeah.
And I think Frances Haugen the whistleblower proposed something that doesn't necessarily involve lawmaking. Dick Blumenthal and others really pressed her. Well, should we make a law? And she kind of had to say, well, yeah, you should make a law. But really, I thought what she said about moral bankruptcy was interesting. She basically said the right thing for Facebook to do at this point would be to say, yeah, we screwed up. We declare moral bankruptcy. We did something wrong, and we don't know how to stop it. We don't know how to fix it, which is completely legitimate. It's a tough thing to fix.
I think is where it is. Yeah.
And so what Facebook should say is we don't know how to fix it, but we would like your help. And I don't mean Congress should make a law. She said change Section 230. I think that's exactly not the thing to do. What Facebook should do. Facebook's defense was, well, we did all this research. we do care.
We didn't do anything about it.
But we didn't do anything about it. Facebook should, A, release all the research in full.
Yes.
They're hiding the results of the research. Yeah, they
Yes.
did it, but they don't want anybody to know how damaging Facebook can be. And then B, stop blocking legit researchers like NYU from doing their own research on Facebook data. Let
Leo, can I ask you this
the
question?
light in here.
I was thinking about this before the show and how to tackle this. And there's a lot of talk about algorithms being bad, and I hate the demonization of algorithms, and I even hate the demonization of targeting and
She
and
did say, which I agree with her, put it in chronological order. That's what everybody wants.
That's where I disagree. That's where I disagree. I mean, you have that option now, and it's a
and it
crappy
turns
feed.
it off every time.
Let me. It's also a crappy feed.
You turn it
ask my
on
question.
when you
Let me
go
ask my
back, it will
question.
be off again.
Let me ask my question. I think the real focus that comes out is, and it's the same problem with media, it is the attention economy and metrics based on engagement.
Yes.
So if you were going to rebuild, if tomorrow you own Facebook, all the three of you are the new board of directors of Facebook, and engagement metrics are decided to be corrupting, what metrics would you use to decide what a good feed is and what a good business is?
Well, she said something I think important, which is you might in the short term make less money if you turn off engagement.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Well,
but she said in the long run, I believe Facebook will do better because it will be less damaging to its users.
I think that's simplistic, and I think that's wrong, and that doesn't answer my question.
Isn't though what
complaint
Facebook
is about
here's what
engagement as an
Facebook
evil.
said when their promise when they came along was follow your friends and family, see what they're up to, and share what you're up to with them. That is not what Facebook does anymore because of algorithmic.
Well, it's because it wants to
modification.
sell ads.
No, I understand why it does it, but it could still sell
I
ads
think-
against what it promised to. It lied to us. It said, "Give us your content, follow your
But it
friends."
judged what we liked based on engagement. And I'm going to go back to my question. If engagement is a bad metric, let's just
Go back
posit
to what
that.
you promised.
But then, even then, you have too many posts in a day. As I think it was Casey Newton said, you're only going to see the random little bit of.
Fine, that's
of
what
the people
Twitter
you
is
follow.
too. No, it's up
Twitter
to you.
is algo
It's up to
too.
you. That's not true. By the way, that's not true. Look, if I follow my mom, my kids, and my high school sweetheart, I am not going to see too many posts in a day.
Okay, I don't want to just follow those three people. I want to follow and find more interesting people, but I also want to. I want some prioritization.
Then that's
in there.
not Facebook.
And you're dodging my question, which is if you could redesign Facebook around a better
No
structure,
algorithm.
more
You
quality-
follow what
Oh,
you're
that's-
interested in. That's what Twitter was until recently.
What if you bifurcated? What if you bifurcated it into personal? So, Leo, you'll be kind of like a freeloader on Facebook in the sense that you're only going to follow your close friends and family. Jeff might be someone who's willing to follow a wider assortment of people and see different ads. I mean, the issue is there's
You're in
not
control
a
of
large.
it. That's the issue. It's whether Facebook's in control of what you see
Well, it's
or
in
you're in
control.
control of what you see.
Yeah.
That's all.
Fine.
I want
and
the
make
control.
those controls more obvious. But I go back to my Yahoo. We had control of my Yahoo, and nobody went back to it because it's a pain. People don't do they don't do dials.
What are you talking about? My Yahoo. I don't know what you're talking
Back in the day, we
Back in
all
the
set
days,
up a
yeah.
my Yahoo.
That was a
It
news
pain in the
page.
ass.
That
It
wasn't
took
about
forever,
following friends
and
or
we never went
family.
back to it.
No, that wasn't.
I'm just saying, when you say people want more control, and I agree philosophically, I'm not sure
It's
people
not
actually do it.
complicated. You're already doing that. When you join Facebook, you follow your friends and family. You do it. You
And
go
I have
through
a
this
wonderful
dumb,
Facebook feed,
you
by the way.
go through
A
this
beautiful Facebook feed.
You go through this dumb exercise that Facebook wants you to think you're going to get to see what you asked to see, and instead they tell you what you're going to see. And even if you follow your mom, you will not see all of her posts. You may not see any of her posts, right?
And I get nice surprises in Facebook that I wouldn't have seen if I just stuck with the chrono when I go in every 3 days.
You know what? We're going to have to throw that little serendipity thing out. That's the mistake. Is the Facebook?
And you've returned to mass media.
No, you
where
haven't.
it's just a
It's exactly
follow.
the opposite. You've returned to personal media. You're following what you want, not what
the one yelling
Facebook
at
tells you want. That's the whole problem in a nutshell. And by the way, they make plenty of money doing that.
You could put a dial for more or less serendipity.
Yes.
I guess.
I
Just
don't know.
turn on-
It seems like it does a bad job with the serendipity.
Yes, that's
when
the
I look
nut-
at the things that are
How many,
suggested
how
to
many
me.
people clicked on? Well, that's because their metric was engagement. And if you are going to show people, if you're going to surprise people with stuff, you can't surprise them with anything that's less than like a 6 or a 7 on the oh my God scale. You know,
exactly.
It has to be
the same
incredibly
I get
cute or
stuff
incredibly
from my
horrible.
Gutenberg
It's the
group,
same.
my McLuhan group.
We're going to have to stop right now. My Facebook's fine thing. That's people say that all the time about all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Mine's
But there's
fine.
billions
What's
of
your
users.
problem?
Why do you stop? No, why are you telling me to stop that?
Because it's not useful.
China.
That doesn't
Yes,
solve
it
the
is.
problem.
Yes, it is because the presumption in the narrative is that every single feed on Facebook is a
No,
cesspool
Jeff,
of
okay,
crap,
I'm
and
going to
it's
tell
not.
you why your experience isn't useful.
That's
You
what I'm
are
saying. Thank you.
Older white man who has a very different experience based on the types of things you're interested in, the types of people you follow than a lot of other people. And your experience is going to also be different because of the fact that you're, a guy.
Yes, I all true, but I also choose. I ignore people I don't like. I get rid of them, and it makes life perfectly pleasant.
Okay, so you ignore
This is the
people you don't
equivalent of
like. Are those people
anecdotal
being
evidence,
served
Jeff.
up to you by the algorithm, or is that someone you're seeking
I
out?
unfollow them. I get rid of them. It's not hard.
Well, then
That's-
there's no problem.
that's the best
Facebook's
way.
fine. What's the problem, Jeff? Facebook's great.
Facebook is great.
Okay.
But if there's
So clearly,
my local
clearly
bar
you're
is great.
so clearly,
Leo, my
Jeff,
neighborhood is great, but I've got some
if you're
a-holes
in the-
here in it,
Well, wait
and
a
I
minute.
ignore them.
Jeff, if you're in the Facebook is great camp, thanks anyway. We'll talk to somebody else about it because you're in the very small minority that says Facebook's great. You say nothing needs to be.
Show me the data.
You say,
there, Bob.
are you
Show me
saying
the
that
data.
nothing
Hold on.
needs to be
2
changed?
billion. So 2 billion people are miserable. They're all there because they hate it and they're miserable
This
and they're
isn't
forced to be there every
just
day. That's what I don't
Facebook.
buy.
This is
I
also
think at least-
Instagram and WhatsApp. And I think that's worth noting because some
Yes.
of our most vulnerable people are not on Facebook, but they are on WhatsApp or Instagram.
At this point, Jeff, you're just saying there's no problem, so move on.
No, I'm not saying that at all, Leo. I've just spent time saying that there's a problem, and I'm trying to get to a more helpful, constructive way to rebuild Facebook from scratch, saying that there's a huge problem with their business model built on attention and on engagement.
So your
there's
but
a
your
problem
feed
here.
is perfect.
I agree there's a problem here.
But your feed
my
is
feed
perfect.
is fine. I'm just saying it's possible.
So the
to have a
problem
good
isn't
feed.
Facebook.
I'm
The
not saying
problem
that
is
all of Facebook
people not
fine.
doing
I'm
a
saying
good
it's
job with
possible
their
to have a good
feed.
Well,
Jeff,
you're the
that's
ones
the
who are
most
saying give
NIMBY
us more
thing I have
control,
ever
and I
heard.
use that control.
Your argument is my experience is good, so we don't need to change anything. That is
No, I did not. I
NIMBYism.
just argued for a huge fundamental change in Facebook. All I'm saying is, number one, if you think that every single Facebook feed is awful, then you're basically accusing how many people now, 3 billion people, of being cockney idiots.
We're just
for being
saying
there at all.
Facebook's putting its thumb on the scale and creating huge problems with their algorithms. They know that there's a problem and they bury the research. When somebody comes out and says,
I'm agreeing with all
and
of
when
that.
someone comes out with a research and says, here's the problem, they say, well, that person really doesn't know what they're talking about.
But what I'm disagreeing with you on is go to Chrono and everything is okay. That's ridiculous. I've seen pure Chrono Facebook and I've seen pure Chrono Twitter, and I don't like them very much.
I think
And-
that's what
and there's
Facebook
a value-
promised. Facebook did not promise us that
No, the
we will
newsfeed
show
from the
you
very
what you
beginning
want,
promised.
as opposed to
The
we will
very
show
beginning,
you.
the news feed promised they were going to be selecting what you would find interesting from the very beginning. Now, again, I'm saying there's a fundamental problem there. I'm not arguing with you guys on that. I'm just saying that the simplistic
Do you
view of
think Twitter got
go to
better
Chrono
when
or
you
break them up or that stuff
Does-
is too
does-
simplistic, and there's a harder question here.
So Facebook shows you things you don't follow, right? It picks stuff for you, right? Does Twitter do that?
Twitter does too.
Yeah.
Twitter shows you
Or it
stuff.
happens because a friend of mine followed something, a friend of mine liked it, a friend of mine did something, and then it comes in my feed.
Oh, but it always comes to you as
I
a
didn't.
retweet from a friend. But you don't. Twitter doesn't inject
Oh, no,
stories.
Twitter puts
Oh
in.
no, Twitter does, sir. Twitter will put a post right there on your screen that says so and so replied to this, whether I was interested in it or not. It only put it there.
Oh,
Because,
I don't see that. I turn it off. So Twitter's fine.
I'm trying to say that there's a more fundamental problem here.
Slap him,
And
Miss
fine,
Stacey.
you can scream about how the world is awful.
Well, I just
But-
disagree with you. I
but-
think
Waiting
the
to talk
problem
about
is
BGP.
the problem is algorithms. That's the problem.
That's
the problem with YouTube. That's the problem with Facebook. If Twitter's doing that, that's the problem with Twitter. It is the algorithms are not
There we do
optimizing
different
for
things
anything
wrong.
except engagement. And
I
I
don't
think
want
this is what Francis
just a
Haugen
pi-
said. When you optimize for engagement, you optimize for extremism.
So what else
Yep.
could you optimize for is what I'm trying to get you to address. Engagement is media. What we're doing right now is going for engagement. People are going to say, hey, listen to them and yell about this and that. We're going for engagement right now, 2.5 hours worth. That's what we do too. So what is the alternative to, I still believe it's good for people to talk with each other and find a way to connect online.
Let me
That's
ask you this.
The internet. So how do we do a better job of it?
Let me ask you this then. Is Facebook a media property?
No. You've heard this before. No.
Okay. But so
People
media optimizes for engagement because that's the job. What is Facebook then?
Facebook and Twitter and Google took on media's business model, yes. Because the ad industry, that's what the ad industry buys. You're going to get back to the
you can't have it both. If you ask me, you can't have it both ways. Either Facebook is a platform for people to share with one another, which they would like to pretend they are, or they are media, which optimizes for engagement. You can't have it both ways, I don't think.
Yeah, you can.
I think that's fair, what you just said. That it's a pretend going on here. Yes, they want us to connect. Yeah, they want us to connect. That was their mission way back when. But they also want to profit, make a crap ton of money. And the only way to do that is to algorithmically show us stuff that's going to have people more engaged on it, whether it's great content or really, really horrific content, something that's going to make people hit like, something that's going to make people hit reshare and comment on it over and over and over again. That's where they want to win.
So what would be a better judge? What would be a better, so you want to start a whole new social network.
By the way, Jeff, I've told you 4 times what my solution is, and you just reject it out of hand. You say, you can't do that.
I do. Well, no, I do, because if I want to follow more than 10 people, it's going to be
follow anybody you want.
I want some mechanism to help choose that.
No, Facebook should not put its thumb on the scale, because Facebook cannot be trusted to do that, because they're going to optimize for profit.
They're doing it to the wrong metrics is what I'm trying to get to.
No,
I'm trying to imagine
they're doing it to the exact right metrics.
You're just saying that any choice, any judgment
Jeff,
is bad.
Yes, just as we optimize for engagement, any media business should optimize for engagement. They're doing it to the exact right metrics if they're a media platform. If they are a sharing platform, they shouldn't put their thumb on the scale at all. You should follow who you want and see what you want, period. I don't see why that's so complicated.
Let me try it this way. So Jack Dorsey, in his talk of, what is it, Blue Sky or whatever it's called? Right? You envision a different architecture where speaking is the commodity platform, but there's a value added layer where people find the stuff that's worth listening to. I want that service. I want someone to go, as I did I put the thumb on the scale with my COVID Twitter list. I chose 600 people. I am God. And I found that there's value in it, right? And I offered it to others. And you can take my suggestions, you can reject them. But I did put my thumb on the scale to that extent, right? I chose. I want that as a service. But if it's done
but what you did is human to human, though.
One more. If it's done to pure engagement and attention, it will be corrupted. So what are other mechanisms that would define quality of experience?
I'm going to say it one more time. Yeah. You're really thick on this. There is only one mechanism, which is to optimize for profit. That's the only mechanism a for-profit company will use. That is optimizing for engagement. They're equal. And the minute Facebook puts its thumb on the scale in any direction, they're going to optimize for profit. It would be dumb of them to optimize to make less money. Why would they do that?
Their argument there, I want to hear from Stacey here, because I've been talking, the only 3 guys have been talking too much, but I'll answer your one question. Their argument there is that a bad experience is not profitable in the long run, right? And if this is such a cesspool and such a miserable experience, and if people come here and all they see is hate, and that we force them to do that, that's bad business. Now, that's glib, but I think there's an underlying point there that says that if this thing is so miserable to so many people, then it's not in the long run going to be a good business. So are there other measures of quality and value to people in their lives that, yes, may not be as profitable, as Haugen says, but we're trying to end up at the same place, Leo. We're just trying to get there in different ways. You see only one path there. I'm not going to
say this is all Facebook. Some of it is the users too. We do have a choice to not use these platforms and not engage on the stuff that we see pushed up through the algorithms.
But if you're a QAnon fan and you want to follow all QAnon stuff on Facebook, you should absolutely be allowed to. I think Facebook wants to be a media company, but pretends it's a platform for sharing. And that's exactly how they got into this problem. And as soon as they put their thumb on the scale in favor of profit, aka engagement, they're equal. That's when you get this problem. And YouTube's done it, and now Twitter's doing it. And in all three cases, that's when extremism gets pumped up. I don't think you should see anything you don't follow on any platform. Then you would solve it.
Yeah.
And if you think your friends, family, and the news sources you want to follow are boring, you're not saying that. You're saying it's too much. So you're going to let Facebook curate it. Well, that's a media platform.
What if Facebook showed you some New York Times and some Washington Post and some Twit?
No, I can find the New York Times, I can find all that stuff myself. That becomes a media platform. That's a curation platform. Inherently problematic. Curation from a company optimizing for profit is inherently problematic. Stacey, you agree?
We do disagree.
I think you can't do anything at scale when it comes to moderating, or if you're going to pick, and this is common across in anything technological, anything that requires computation, whether it's using like sensors to optimize factory production or trying to optimize for engagement. If you're trying to optimize for profit, which people are at a large scale, people are going to gum up the works. So maybe it's people being jerks. Maybe it's people slacking off on their breaks or getting RSI injuries because they can't work as hard as you would like to optimize them for. The point is, we have faith in technology to solve these problems, but we can't apply technology uniformly to people in any way whatsoever. To do otherwise is to break free will. Right? You end up with this horrible dystopian place. So knowing that all of our companies are going to use technology to optimize right now for profitability, if they're publicly traded, that's cool. Their fiduciary duty in most of their cases. We have to figure out how to price in all the externalities that they're ignoring. So if it's social media, we have to figure out what are the externalities that we're ignoring, what are the harms, and how do we mitigate those? And that's kind of what you're asking, Jeff, but you're saying it's not what do you optimize for, it's how do you price in things knowing that they're going to optimize for profit. So
I like that a lot. And that goes to the, when I was on my transatlantic high-level working group on content moderation, freedom of expression, where what we came to was where I think the discussion heads now, and where Nate Persley from Stanford heads, is we have to get the data out of Facebook to understand what the impact is, to then, I used to say, create those interventions, but I think you're right, to then identify the costs. And now Facebook just says, we're going to throw 40,000 people getting rid of crappy content. Okay. That's not it. Meanwhile, people who are getting harassed have nowhere to go because that's not valued, because there's no cost put to that. So I like that a lot, Stacey. I think that's a great mechanism to look and say there's cost to everything, right? There's cost to cars. And so we add in the seatbelts. We require every manufacturer to do that. We all agree we're going to spend money on that, right? So that's an interesting thing to say when you have people online, which I celebrate. What are the costs that we now know end up coming, and what do we do about that, and what do we demand as investment against that? Is that a fair summary?
It is, but you have to also be aware that, everybody's externalities are going to be a little bit different. Like some people think the cost of like a cheap consumer good is more valuable to them than the cost of preserving the environment, right?
Right.
Because they're thinking short-term versus long-term. So, I mean, this is hard. This is why I'm always like, we need a nuanced discussion and we need to decide what we want to give up and what we don't.
Which is how you get to policy. True. Yes.
So, okay. Hey, let's talk about failures because, y'all, this is
No, I don't want to
talk
about my failures.
Can we do we want to talk about BGP and DNS, or do we not care about that at all?
I think we've actually talked about it quite a bit on Security Now and
Security
other
Now.
shows.
Okay, we can talk about something else.
We can do the the rundown. If you're doing it to change the subject, I don't mind. Do you want to change the subject, or are you really fascinated
I would like to talk about
BGP?
Anything other than this.
Yeah.
I hate
to tell you, this is the top story of the week, though. This is really
I know
the top story. I mean, I guess you're right. We're not going to make any progress at this point.
Y'all are just y'all are getting real loud and cranky and
oh no, it's just
the same
great
things
job
back and forth at
presenting
each other.
A structure for
it's just passionate.
This triggers all kinds of craziness. I'm a bad pundit. I can't even listen to y'all.
No, you just were a great pundit.
Well,
Aunt, I need you to hold my hand through this.
I got you.
I think in the long run,
panic now, Stacey.
I think in the long run, what's going to happen if you add all the data and you do all the research and all this stuff is you're just going to come up again and again with the problem that Facebook, it says it's a platform, is a media company, is optimizing for engagement because it's profitable. And there really isn't, either it's a media company, in which case you can say it's Fox News. I mean, like, I'm not saying Fox News should be stopped. They're optimizing for engagement. That's fine.
Yep.
And your choice is not to watch it or watch it, whichever you please. I don't think that is an issue. I think it's a much bigger issue that Facebook promises something and delivers something else, and it does it in a very sneaky way. I think the real reason they don't release this data is they don't really want people to understand, A, how much they're algorithmically massaging your feed, and B, the consequences of that, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. WhatsApp doesn't really come into this conversation because it's just a messaging platform. In fact, WhatsApp, I would submit,
where there's a lot of damage going on.
Yeah.
Which your algorithmic argument
but what are you
goes out the window there.
No, I
it's a
agree.
whole different
WhatsApp,
thing.
you're only talking to people that you actively talk to.
Boy,
I don't know what you're going to do
there.
about that. So Jeff, that's the same thing. It's a common carrier problem. So there's all sorts of horrible stuff going on in the telephone company, but it's not their responsibility.
And I hate to throw children, since if we're gonna keep talking about this, we have to focus less on the Jeff's situation and more on how the kids
I agree.
are.
I thought it was interesting.
Like, I mean,
Congress really focused, the senators really focused it about kids, and I think that's politically safer and easier than saying,
well, and it's important
January
too.
6th.
I mean, we have to protect our kids,
Right.
and I'm not saying this like as some sort of pearl clutching crazy lady.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying this from the standpoint of
here's what Instagram and Facebook tell kids. Put your pictures on here and look at the pictures of your friends. And it's very simple. And I think there probably are issues with adolescent girls looking at their friends' pictures and getting, bad body image messages and so forth. That's a societal problem. I don't think that's Instagram's problem.
I agree.
I don't think Instagram should be required to somehow, and I don't even know how they would fix that. I don't think that's fixable.
But you can also see, like, and I don't know where Instagram falls on this, but like, how TikTok prioritizes certain, they what's the word I'm looking for? Brings to the For You page things like white people.
TikTok is a
people in rich
perfect
houses.
example of the opposite of a totally algorithmic feed. I follow my son, for instance, and he never shows up when I look at following. They are literally not showing me his content because they've decided algorithmically I don't want to see food content. So the TikTok is the actual worst of the thing. I mean, that's as bad as you can get. And I'm not going to slam TikTok because Henry's getting to 1 million followers. He's doing very well. So. But honestly, TikTok is a perfect example of what's wrong with this stuff. And you know what? That's the next one where you're going to hear. I'm surprised you're not hearing more of it. Oh my God!
Well, they're not a U.S.-based company,
right?
So
what are you going to do about
Congress
it?
Can't hold them.
Well, they could ban it.
Well, yeah, that's going to go.
I think honestly, I think algorithm is the problem. I think the promise Facebook gave us. No, it is. It's absolutely the worst.
You're demonizing algebra.
No, I'm not demonizing algebra.
He's not demonizing algebra. He's demonizing
the people who
motive
use
behind it, and the fact that you can't scale an algorithm. You have to pick something to optimize for. And if you're optimizing for profit, you're going to optimize for engagement.
Well, and it's just not nuanced. There's no way you can say, well, I think we're going to make this algorithm a little bit better so it doesn't hurt children. You can't nuance it. You can't. It's an algorithm. And I'm not demonizing the algorithm. I'm demonizing the people who use. It's the same thing in World of Warcraft. When you're playing World of Warcraft.
Wait a minute, what?
No, listen.
What?
When you play World of Warcraft. This is clearer, so it's less charged. When you play World of Warcraft, you team up with other players to go on raids, right? And when you go on raids, you get loot drops. So the people who do World of Warcraft watch very closely your engagement time in World of Warcraft, and they tie it to the loot drops. They can tune the loot drops to make sure you engage more.
What the hell's a loot drop?
It's just stuff you get from the raid. It's all made up. Stuff you get from the winnings. And just like Vegas does the same thing. You think Vegas doesn't pay very close attention to what payoffs make you play slot machines longer? It's all of this engagement stuff is all the same. They are feedback loops. And the problem with technology is a very rapid feedback loop. And pretty much the humans don't get involved. They can tweak little factors. But it's what Jeff Bezos calls the flywheel. It gets faster and faster and faster. And it happened with World of Warcraft. It became very addictive because they knew exactly how to tune it for optimization, for engagement. And I think that's exactly what's happening on Facebook. It's exactly what's happening on YouTube. And when you optimize for that kind of engagement, you lose control of what's happening. There's no way to tweak it to make it safe. That's a fool's errand.
What's fascinating is, as much as sometimes the Instagram algorithm pisses me off, I look at YouTube and I'm like, what is YouTube doing different to make the algorithmic experience much more enjoyable for me? But Instagram can't.
Instagram's interesting because they don't show you at the top of your feed anybody you don't follow. They save that for later, after you've gone through all of the pictures.
After I've gone through my current stuff, it'll say I'm caught up. Now,
other stuff you might like.
Check this other stuff out. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, that's the algorithm.
And I'm like, what are you doing wrong here? YouTube doesn't do that for me.
Well, it might not work for you, but it might work for others. Remember, they're not optimizing for you.
Right. How selfish of me. Self-centered.
Anyway, Jeff's shutting up because he doesn't want to get in a fight. But
come on, throw him another bait.
I tried to start to have. You're saying that I'm trying to examine otherwise, and you say it's simply impossible. So we disagree about that. I think the internet is young, and if we say that the internet is finished and these are the only owners and we're screwed, then we give up the responsibility and the agency to build the internet that we want. What would a social network look like where people can connect? You have one answer, which is you follow only the people you get. You got all of that. I don't think that's a very good experience.
If you want a media experience, you should go to media.
We've said it already.
Mastodon, you only see what you follow. It's a very good social experience. That's social. I'm seeing the people I follow. They see me. We have conversations. I don't see what's so bad about that, Jeff. Your only argument against it is it's too much. Well, stop following so many people.
But you have the one you want, and I'll have the one I want. And why can't we have that?
Because a media platform pretending to be a social media platform is problematic.
Well, let's get to the real basis.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
There you go. Thank you. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Thank you. It's using the engagement.
Let's go
it's
farther.
Using the engagement techniques of a Fox News on what purportedly social site, and that's not what you're getting. That's why it's problematic.
Well, let's talk about AT&T and OAN. Not to change the subject yet. I'm sure we'll get to it. But the same problem exists.
I'm not going to even do this story. I don't even know why this story is in here. I know exactly why this story is in here. Yeah.
I find it fascinating. It's a Reuters. It's a major Reuters story. It's not some made up thing.
So one big company funded another.
Decided that to get the merger through, and for other motives and reasons, and to engage certain parts of their audience so they get more subscribers, they basically created OAN.
So what?
Oh, no. AT&T has always been super, super conservative just as a company.
Yeah, I don't even understand what's wrong with that.
They're like the Coke company, but the K, not the
So what's wrong with that? That's what businesses do. Thing is, that's a media company. I don't have to watch OAN.
And they own it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They own up to that.
You don't have to watch Facebook.
I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't at all. But I would love it.
So you're the opposite of me. You're saying that my experience doesn't work. Well, neither does yours, because you want to deny everybody the experience and say this is so awful. So we're different sides of the same coin.
What if
you want to keep this discussion going? We can keep it going, or we can move on.
You don't think Facebook is awful? You don't think Facebook is awful?
He clearly does not.
Okay.
No, as a whole.
What if you put an age limit on Facebook? What if you said you had to be 18 to participate on any of these platforms?
I think that makes some sense. However, trying to enforce that is going to be hell. Right. And age verification brings in lots of other problems.
Actually, kids don't want to go on. I mean,
they don't want to go on
They want to be on Instagram.
The problem
and that's
ain't
why
kids.
We can't keep. focusing on Facebook and its
Yeah, you're
algorithm.
right.
We have to talk about Instagram and others too.
You're right.
I don't think Instagram is as bad, to be honest with you.
Instagram is horrid. It is horrid for kids. They sit there and they tag each other because they're in parties. Then you feel left out. That's because it's where the kids are.
That's a kid problem, a society problem. I don't know.
I don't think that's an Instagram
It makes
problem.
it easy for them to see it. That's all it is. It just makes it, and then it glamorizes bad things. Like it glamorizes a life people don't have.
How would you prevent that? Would you not allow your kids online? Because anything that they do online is going to end up being that.
Yeah, but the bullying and things that go on via Instagram.
Well, bullying goes on online in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. That's a social problem. That's a kid problem.
But you can go away from it without, like, if all of your friends are communicating in this one place, you're going to go to that place. If they're all at the watering hole, you're going to be at the watering hole with them.
Right. Well, if they all went to the mall and they were bullying at the mall, would it be the mall's problem?
Well, but at the mall, it's a lot fewer people can go find you at the mall. It's a higher friction experience to bully someone at a mall than it is online. And there's limitations on the number of people who can see you at a mall.
Well, this is where I'm going to be on Jeff's side, which is this is a feature of the internet. And
yes.
And I agree it's problematic, but I don't know if the problem is the internet.
But you're marketing it to kids.
Or society. But kids are going to, even if you didn't market it to kids, kids would use it.
Yes, but
which is the problem with the age limit.
It's harder for kids to buy cigarettes, even though kids do still smoke, because we implemented laws against it. Right? When I was a kid, you could still smoke if you really wanted to, but it was kind of a pain in the ass.
So even in China, where they are pretty effective laws, and they even make you sign up with a driver's license for your internet access, somehow kids under 13 are getting
some
on
people
games.
are going to break through.
Okay.
But some people are not. I mean, we can't just say, well, this law is clearly
Doesn't bullying happen through texting, as somebody's pointing out in the chat room?
It can, yes.
So,
but again, you don't spread it as far. You can't like.
Oh, I imagine there are group texts that are.
Yeah, there are group texts. But those group texts being bullied on something like Twitter or Facebook is a lot different than being bullied by friends in your text thread. Even if it's 200 people in your
Look, I'm
text thread,
sympathetic. I mean, it's horrible when a kid's bullied, and the consequences can be devastating and even life-threatening. But I don't know if you can, that's turning off. You say, well, you can't go to the mall, you can't turn on the internet, you can't turn on texts, you can't have a phone. In fact, why don't you just stay home and you won't be bullied?
So let's bring in Dana Boyd now, who says that when we try to overprotect our children, we harm them terribly, and they can't find people who feel like them.
Right.
And they lose their growing up.
Yeah.
Because
lots of kids are bullied on the playground at school. My son was.
It's definitely a balancing act because, Instagram can be quite problematic, but at the same time, we hope that these children have some sensible adult in their life to tell them, hey, none of this stuff is what you think it is. People are doing a lot of phony baloney stuff, trying to make themselves look better, and they have to try to draw the line and let them know what reality is and what really matters in life, and stop buying into the body shaming stuff. I think it was 2017 or 2018. There was a kid that committed suicide at the Hardhead School. And that was a really, really big ordeal to talk to them. They were much younger, and just seeing how they reacted to it, because they just assumed everything was about Instagram and Snapchat or whatever the apps were at that particular time. And I had to tell them, look, there's more to life than just these apps right here. There's other things that are going to take precedence, and we got to help find the balance. Still enjoy your time with your friends on these mobile apps and whatnot, but you do have to understand, look, I'm going to draw the line on the stuff that I catch you posting. I can't stand these kids posting all of this braggadocious stuff, because that's what it leads to. It leads to other people feeling like everybody is leaving them out, and it's not even factual. Just have some sort of sensible adult around for these children, but I don't even know if that's a guarantee, unfortunately.
So can I use an example here? I think it's not. So there's an example today from TikTok, where we see all kinds of stories out there alerting to a trend on TikTok that you should go and slap a teacher. Now,
Yes.
I would think that any sensible student, any sensible parent would already have taught their kids
not to slap teachers.
Don't hit your teachers. And so
I got a dadgum email about that.
TikTok's going to cause this rash. And if it does, isn't there, to Ann's point, a different problem that we've got to grapple with?
Well, yes, but so to these kids, having social credibility, it's like, you know, when you're that age and you're like, if all of your friends ran off a bridge, would you run too? Yeah, they would. They would do something incredibly stupid because peer acceptance is way more important to them at this stage.
Right.
A lot of other.
My kids wouldn't have slapped a teacher. I mean, just because
I would like to think that my kid wouldn't either. But there are other kids who are very easily led, and that doesn't make them horrible people.
You know what happens is you become so desperate to get peer acceptance, and if it looks like the only or best way to get peer acceptance is by having a viral video on TikTok, then it might be worth it to you to slap a teacher just because that peer acceptance is so important to you. I can understand.
But that's when I step in.
There are adults who do that.
This is to Ann's point.
Yeah. But that's when I would step in and say, look, that peer acceptance, it's you know, there's a fine line to it. You know, I know you want to have friends and this and that, but you can't go out there and just do stupid crap.
The problem is you're going to say that after it happened because you're not even going to know about it until it does happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unfortunately, especially as our kids get older, their lives are now out of our purview. We don't see what's going on. And it's all about their peer group. So you're going to know about it, but it'll be after they slap the teacher. It's not going to be before they slap the teacher, right?
Miss Stacy, I lucked out. Most of the dumb crap I did was in my adult years, not so much in my childhood years, because I was scared of my mom's. You know,
it's good to be scared of your mom.
I was terrified of my mom, but my brother, totally different person.
Yeah,
my sister.
The other thing, and this is the substantial difference, none of us grew up in a world where everything was online.
Right.
And that is a huge difference. And that's kind of what we're grappling with here, is that this generation is growing up in public, effectively.
Wow. I just had this conversation with Queen Pruitt yesterday. Just said that, man, we didn't grow up with everything being connected and having the challenges of following the likes and stuff like that. You know,
I wish kids could take their stuff offline when they turned 18.
I've been telling my daughter, take everything down you've ever posted and start
wipe it all.
I've been telling her that for years. It's very hard for the same reason, even as an adult. Your peer acceptance, your peer group. This is you get value. This is where you get value. Did you read, Jeff, Ben Thompson's piece in Stratechery?
I didn't get through it. No, I didn't have time because it's Ben Thompson. It takes forever. I didn't find it until like 20 minutes before the show.
It's essentially a defense of Facebook. In a nutshell, Facebook's value to the economy, giving small businesses and so forth parity with big businesses, it's so valuable to the economy that it's really important that Facebook continue as it has. That all of that engagement stuff does go to advertising, which is all about giving,
So let's stay there for a second. So imagine that rather than trying for CPM-based advertising and programmatic-based advertising, that Facebook said we're going to rebuild around local, which is not about engagement. It's about local and trust and other things. And it'd be a smaller Facebook, but it's a way to imagine an advertiser-supported Facebook that, Nextdoor is trying to build that, right? Nextdoor is doing that on real identity, and there are a-holes on Nextdoor too. My wife has probably gotten one or two of them off there forever.
Similar problems though with Nextdoor.
Well, because the problem is people. The problem is there are a-holes in the world, right? And so the question is, do we expect the platforms to protect us from a-holes? Well, to an extent, yes, and that's the other side of the algorithm, by the way. The algorithm also demotes a lot of stuff and take stuff away that you're not going to want to see because it's crappy. Now, the problem is they're demoting the wrong things and promoting the wrong things, and that's part of the problem here, is that they haven't defined why they exist and what the experience should be. But there is a world I can imagine where social can be better. And so I'm not ready to give up, and neither am I ready to give up on algorithms and curation and choice. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that can be value added.
This is what Ben writes. If you'd gotten to the end, you would have actually enjoyed this. He says, I acknowledge some of the problems at Facebook, particularly the first one about Facebook internalizing the fundamental flaws inherent in humanity. In other words, to argue it is not in Facebook's interest as an ad platform to have angry political discussions doesn't change the reality that having people interact more will entail more angry political discussions amongst every other discussion that humans are liable to have. But this also makes the case for why I don't think the world would be better off if Facebook were a much smaller company. Its political problems, both for the company and the world, are irrevocably tied to its size. He's arguing that Facebook has now become a behemoth, and that is inherently problematic. And in fact, that Facebook ultimately will be used for political power. He said, James Madison predicted this in the Federalist Papers. Facebook presents a societal problem, not a competitive problem. Moreover, per political problem 3, politicians don't want a smaller Facebook. They want to use it. They want a compliant Facebook. So the most likely outcome, Facebook doubles down on information control, perhaps with some regulation, which I don't think there's any possible regulation that could actually solve this problem just without mucking it up. He says that it's far more likely to hinder new startups, stricter limits on data, for example, or increasing liability for user-generated content than it is to materially harm Facebook. Not much will change, at least in the short term. It's a very strong argument. It's one I don't like, but he makes a very strong argument.
Kevin Roos also argued today that Facebook is weaker than we knew. Mike Masnick, I think, also was smart about this. That this is about the messiness of humanity.
Is Facebook weaker than we knew? Is Facebook weak at this point? Do you think this is a body blow?
As a company able to fix its problems. I think that's what Kevin's point was. Right? I think that's that's a lot of what I'm seeing is that they put themselves. Here's the most dystopian vision. Right? I think the Congress looks at this, and you're right, by the way. Some of the senators who are going after Facebook have spent tons of money on Facebook. But people look at this and think that there's a solution. And that Facebook, you could solve this, right? And part of what you're saying, Leo, is no, they really can't. And part of what others say, they really can. That's the question. Has this train gotten out of Facebook's hands and they don't know what to do with it now? I think that's the more dystopian view here. And that's why I hang around with academics, even though I'm not one. I want a lot more research to understand this better, because what we're doing is having a huge discussion and a policy discussion on presumption. And I want to know more about this. And Facebook is the only path to getting that knowledge because they have the damn data. That, to me, is the essence of this entire story right now. Now, others might say, too late, forget it. It's ruined the world. It's awful. We should just turn it off. But that's where I think strategy is really interesting to say, well, no, not only the advertising piece, but also the George Floyd story. Also, my students who worked with people who were food poor in the Midwest during the pandemic, and Facebook was the mechanism by which they did that. I think you would agree. It's not all bad. And what would we
absolutely
give up?
agree.
Would we all solve if we just turned it off? So the harder thing
that's why
is,
but I'm not saying
goes to
turn
Stacey,
off.
These are hard problems.
Turn off the algorithm. So, but his point, Roos's point is Facebook is actually a dying company, not because of political problems, but because young people aren't interested. He says TikTok is, or something like it, it's going to take over.
It's MySpace.
I would submit that if TikTok takes over, we have not seen the worst yet. That TikTok is so algorithmic. And I love TikTok, but that's part of the problem. It's very, very addictive. It's so algorithmic and so cleverly done algorithmically that it would be worse than Facebook.
Musicals will solve the problem.
We won't know for some years yet. But I think Roos, after reading what he said, I think you're right. Kevin often gets things wrong, but in this case, he might be right.
I agree with you. I think TikTok's down right now. I just tried to go to TikTok.
TikTok is down on the web for some reason. I did the same thing, and it says too many concurrent connections.
I was going to try to find a musical to solve.
So this is not
our soul.
This is not the same problem that the BGP problem.
It's DDoS.
Yeah, that looks like either a DDoS or a misconfiguration. It does seem to be working on mobile, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Wait, TikTok's on the web? Hold up, really?
Yeah, you don't have. In fact, here's a nice tip. You don't even have to have an account to watch TikToks. You could just go watch them. In fact, if you wanted to watch somebody who's about to have 1 million TikTok followers.
I guess we watch Hank on the web.
Yeah.
I just never thought about.
Yeah. He's on Instagram too. In fact, he just told me he's going to start a YouTube channel, which is kind of a relief.
I was just wondering that today, whether you're advising or he's advising himself to branch out.
I've been telling him for ages here that he should not be relying on one platform.
The format is so different, right? He has to make different things on YouTube.
YouTube has shorts, which are basically it's their attempt to be TikToks. But I think I said shorts. He said, no, I'm not going to do shorts. I'm going to do regular.
I think he should. I think that's great. I think he's right.
You should never.
You should do an exciting cooking show.
Yeah, I think that's what the long term. You should never.
Skills.
You should never rely on a platform you don't control, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, YouTube,
Substack, Medium.
Yeah,
anybody.
That was always when we first were everybody said, oh, you should, Facebook at one point was really getting big into podcasts and video, and you should just do it on Facebook. And I nope, nor on YouTube, nor anywhere else. I mean, we're everywhere you want us to be, but I wouldn't be on any one platform. And ultimately, we need to control our own destiny. So, but I hope Hank does that. I think Hank's monetizing plan is he's going to sell salt because his handle is salt_Hank.
Why not?
And he says it's the perfect product. It's high profit. It doesn't go bad. You don't have to worry about rodents. It's easy to ship. There's no restrictions. I said, you're brilliant. Sell salt. It's already your brand.
And here you use it on the sidewalk in the winter.
Yes. Yeah, he could do that. He'd sell road salt. He wants to do, we were talking this morning because I work out with him on Wednesday mornings, and he wants to do a Halloween thing. I said, you should do a roadkill recipe. He said, and this was telling, he said, I can't. I said, pretend to pick up some roadkill and cook it up. He said, no, they'll take it down. And you can lose your account for stuff like that. TikTok is brutal. He knows people with 1 million followers gone in 60 seconds. Boom. And wow. And that's it. I'm telling you, if you think Facebook is bad, which I do, TikTok is going to be even worse.
You do?
Yeah. It's going to even be worse. I wonder why it's down. So Facebook posted
wait, one more
yesterday.
Question. Was there a moment, because you used Facebook, was there, can you remember a moment when you turned on Facebook or it on you?
Yes. When I realized I always felt bad after I went through it. And it really was, and I kept hitting the chronological button. I just wanted to see the reason I was on Facebook, and I think the reason I would, except for you, Jeff, but most people, I think, the reason they're on Facebook is that's how they stay in touch. That's how they see the grandkids' pictures, or that's how they see, my high school sweetheart, I was following her, that kind of thing. And if I'd just seen that, I wouldn't have felt bad every time I went there. But all the other stuff, I feel a pit, and I said, why am I using something that's making me feel bad? Same thing happened to Twitter. Twitter made me feel like I was having a stroke because it's so fragmented. It's like it's like, what? You have to stay on Twitter all the time to understand what they're talking about. Anyway.
Or you can just accept that you don't and move on.
Yeah, I find
Twitter to be a very zen experience.
It's zen. It's like, I have no idea what they're saying.
No.
It's like having dementia ahead of time. I don't remember anything. I don't know what
I'll be good at dementia. I'll just be like, did I tell you about my dog?
Isn't that nice? Yeah, just post a picture. Yeah, good. Okay. Was I here before? Let's take a break. We can talk actually about the Facebook router outage because Facebook, of course, is not telling us everything, but they've told us a little bit more as of yesterday. And it's not a BGP error. It's kind of a BGP error. It's kind of interesting. And I know you like infrastructure, so we can do that.
We don't have to. I already I shut those pages down and everything.
Oh, okay. We don't have to do it then.
I was like, never mind.
We'll talk about the Pixel 6 instead. That'll make everybody happy.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
That'll make everybody happy. Our show today brought to you by Our Crowd. You said you were reading up on them. It's kind of, Jeff, it's kind of an interesting business. They're venture capitalists. And, of course, the phrase venture capitalists use all the time. Kevin Rose said this. He said, you should be an angel investor. You've got deal flow. I said, what the hell's that? He says, you know what's happening. And so this is the thing. If you've wanted to invest in pre-IPO startups, buying a stock is no big deal. But if you want to invest in a startup early, before they have the exit, of course, that's when you make the most money, is when you get in early. That's how Kevin made all his money. You get in early, and then you get the exit, the IPO. You need deal flow. The problem is you and me, we're just, doing our thing. Where do you get deal flow? That's what Our Crowd's about. These guys are venture capitalists, guys and gals, who are constantly doing the research. They have deal flow because they're constantly investing. They have both individual investments and they have a fund. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. And because they have deal flow, they can introduce you to new companies starting up, pre-IPO, pre-exit, get in at the ground floor. Now, I'm going to tell you that there's a limit on this. You have to be an accredited investor. This is due to the laws in various countries. I think they're to protect innocent people from investing in stuff they don't understand. So if you go, and you can find out right now if you qualify at ourcrowd.com/twig. Depending on which country you're in, you'll see what the rules are for being an accredited investor. But once you're an accredited investor, and by the way, there's no cost to this. You don't have to put any money in. You can actually see what's going on. You can see, because Our Crowd is analyzing companies across the global, it's not just U.S., global private market, selecting those with the greatest growth potential, and then they present them to you. So you get deal flow from personalized medicine to cybersecurity to robotics. It's a great way just to see what's going on in the world in quantum computing. In state-of-the-art labs, startup garages, and anywhere in between, Our Crowd is identifying innovators so that you can invest when the growth potential is the greatest, early on. Our Crowd's accredited investors have already invested over $1 billion in growing tech companies. Many of their members, they've already had 46 IPOs or exits. So that's a lot of people who have benefited a lot from these IPO and exits. And you can see some of these on the page at ourcrowd.com/twig. This is for somebody who's already doing all the right things. You're saving up for your retirement. You're doing the right conservative things. But if you have some space in your portfolio, you really want to diversify it and invest in early and innovative private market companies, this is really the only reasonable way you can do it at Our Crowd. Accredited investors can participate in single company deals. Let me give you the deets. For as little as $10,000, you can actually, if you prefer, you can buy into one of Our Crowd's funds. That's a little more expensive. That's $50,000. But a minimum of $10,000 is required to invest. I want you to know that. And the investment terms will vary depending on where you invest. So you want to find out what it takes to become an accredited investor. If you qualify, you actually don't have to do anything. Just see if you qualify. And you can find out more information when you go to the site. Just put the country you're investing from in, and you'll see what the requirements are. Join the fastest growing venture capital investment community. This is a really great way to give you deal flow. Ourcrowd.com/twig. I thought, when they came to us, I said, I don't know, that, this is for big shots. They said, no, actually it's not. It's a lot of people are at the stage in investing where they are accredited investors. I think you have to have, I can't remember what it is, a certain amount of income, a certain amount of discretionary income. They just want to protect the little guy, But if you qualify, now you want to look at the next step. Well, how do I find out about this stuff? Ourcrowd.com/twig. You don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to do it. Ourcrowd.com/twig. We thank them so much for their support. I think it's an interesting idea.
It is. I just signed up because I've done a little bit. To call what I do in angel investing is ludicrous, because it's the angel's on the head of the pin. What I have is about the size of a head of a pin. But with a couple of friends with things, and I haven't done very well. And so but I'd love to stay involved in the startup world. What's interesting about this is that they have not only the individual companies but also their fund.
Yes, and they are very experienced investors. So, right. They know. They take the meetings with all these companies. You're only seeing the stuff that they've gone through hundreds of companies. You're only seeing the stuff that they've looked at, and they've taken the meetings. They've done the thing a normal VC would do or angel investor would do, and then they present you as if you're, in the room. You present you with that information. It's very interesting. At first, I was like, I don't know this. You got to be Richie Rich. This is, but I trust our audience. Our audience knows what they're doing. And they have,
I'm not going to take a lot of money in this.
No. Well, you got to put at least 10,000. But yeah, right. If you've already, especially you and me, we've been saving. We're at that age. Maybe have a little. The kids are finally out of college.
Well, not quite.
Oh, you still have one in
graduate.
I'll tell you what. Oh yeah, graduate school. Abby's doing a master's program. It's a lot less expensive than the 4.
What's she doing a master's in? If I may ask.
It's writing. I think is it essay writing? It's writing of some kind. It's a master's in writing. But it's one of these modern programs at Dominican where you're off-site for a lot of it, and then I think quarterly you go in. It's really cool. They have a lot nowadays. Boy, you can do a lot with Zoom and stuff with distance learning.
Yeah.
Are you still teaching classes on Zoom?
No. Well, yeah, one class, which is international. They can't get here. A management class. We have news, innovation, leadership.
But most of the other ones are in person?
My engagement journalism class is in session with masks.
Yeah. New York is in pretty good shape, I hear. Broadway's reopened, which is nice. Still be a little nervous about going.
Nerve-wracking, yeah.
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 The concert we went to, we were talking about before the show, the Alanis Morissette, was outside. Lisa and I are not comfortable with going to inside events of any kind at this point. Even when we go eat out, we eat outside. We don't eat inside.
Yeah.
All right. There is a big leak. These leaks, Google just does have no success.
Maybe that's their strategy. Maybe they're just like, you know what? We're not the Apple. We're
Yeah,
going to be the anti-Apple and just let it out.
I kind of thought it might be, actually. A German retailer has accidentally leaked out the price. Let me see if I can find this. I had it before. The price and availability. We know the event, the official invitations have gone out. The event will be the 19th. Jason Howell and I will be covering it. That's a Tuesday. So we will be at 10 a.m. So we'll be in here right before Mac Break Weekly. I'm hoping Google can do it in an hour. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm very excited. I actually had an order in for Microsoft's folding phone, the Duo they call it, and I thought, I'm going to cancel that, and because I know I'm going to get a Pixel 6. I mean, I just know it.
But are you going to get a Pixel Fold? Is that really going to come out, you think?
Well, I don't know. That's interesting, isn't it?
Ooh.
I already have the Z Flip, which I like. By the way, that is a folding phone that makes sense because it's a little thing.
That's the clamshell one.
So, and then it opens up and it's a normal size phone. In every respect, I love this phone. That's part of my problem is I have too many phones now. I don't want.
Well, I can't wait to hear.
Jesus.
On the 20th, if I should get the Pixel 6 or if I should get the folding flip phone.
Well, I don't know. My guess is they're not going to announce that's coming. There have been enough leaks that we know they're doing it.
No, I meant the Samsung phone that you've been playing.
I love that. Well, you can look at the Pixel. So the camera on the Samsung is good, not as good as the top of the line Samsung phones.
I'm a terrible photographer.
Okay, so if you don't see, I think it's still a very good camera, even though Ant doesn't like the white.
They're all very good.
Well,
not to Ant standards.
Not all very good.
But humans.
Most of them are pretty good.
The flagships are mostly pretty good. Yeah. So, that's a good question, actually. I'm not sure where I'd go on that. Here's the German retailer.
Wait and see.
This one even comes with a free pair of Bose premium headphones.
Not the Pixel Buds?
Jack or not?
Yeah. This is from the German retailer Saturn. Pixel 6 costs
that's huge. Retailer.
€649. Launch October 28th. So the event's the 19th. That would make sense. That you could pre-order on the 19th, delivery on the 28th. They're also offering, this can't be right, a pair of €269 Bose headphones when you pre-order between the 19th and the 27th. So a big retailer, probably not inaccurate. You'll have to read the German for us, yeah. Google Pixel 6 vorbestellen.
Vorbestellen means pre-order.
Pre-order. €649.
Only from the 19th to the 27th, right? So it is limited time.
Yeah, let me make this big. I'm going to make this big for you, as big as I can. Dual camera, 50 megapixels plus 12 megapixels. I can read that. Und 8 megapixels front camera. Wonder what a front camera is.
I wonder.
8 gig RAM and 128 gig internal speaker. Is 4620 milliamp hours. It's got a fingerabdruck sensor. Yeah, and the Gesichtserkennung.
And face recognition.
Both face recognition and fingerprint. That's a really good price.
Wait, so you're getting a Bose over-the-ear headset?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh.
This does not look like a mistake. I mean, this doesn't look like a mock-up. This is real. I would
wonder
say.
if they got trade-ins.
Google will, for sure. Full HD plus display. You're going to have to do some math here. 6.4 inches. That's pretty good. Pretty big phone. But what is 649 euros? How much money is that?
Oh, hold on.
$750 Out of Sync says in our chat room. So that's actually, if that's the price, that's a good price. That's good. You know, they could.
Wait, what was the price? I'm so sorry.
$750.
Oh, I would pay that.
Yeah, that's half, literally half, what the Fold 2 costs. Actually, though, it's only $250 less. I think the flip phone is $1,100. So good. We'll be streaming that.
The Google chip, right?
Yeah, I think that's why I ended up thinking I'm not going to use this Microsoft phone because the Google phone is just more interesting. You know, it's a better Android experience. Android 12 did come out this week, but not for the Pixels, which is very strange.
I swear, my Pixel 4 XL, it's just been weirding out here recently. The Pixel launcher just freezes.
Oh,
you have to go and manually kill it and restart it.
You're ready.
Oh, you're just doing this right on time, Google. I see what you're doing.
According to
that's how I feel about my 3 or my 3A or whatever the heck it is.
Google not only confirmed the date, rumors have already started about what other devices the company will announce. This is from Notebook Check. According to Apple Le 257 on the Twitter, Google, I don't know who they are. Google may be planning a bumper launch event with lots of things. Maybe a Pixel Fold, Pixel Watch.
They have a smart home event on the 21st.
Oh. So they would save then probably the new Nest speakers for that, right?
That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they've announced basically that whole week is like all Google devices all the time is kind of how I'm feeling it's going to be.
So the
Pixel Tab is interesting to me.
Yeah, the Pixel tablet.
Nexus 7.
Oh, boy, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Do people want Android tablets? Lenovo just had a tablet come out, and there's one other one.
Android is notoriously bad at tablets, unfortunately.
My mom loved her Android tablets.
Well,
I know that's
Jeff and I loved the 7. We loved our 7.
I loved the Nexus, and I enjoyed
the Chrome tablet makes no sense.
Yeah.
What? Oh, yeah. Chrome tablet.
Yeah, no.
Other rumors say Google's scheduled that Fold release well after this month. So it might not be right away. I have to say, Stacy, I really get the idea of having a pocket handkerchief size phone that opens up to a normal size. That really works. It's a great experience.
And it's holding up well?
Yeah, I'm not using it all the time, but yeah, it's going to hold up, I think. They've gotten pretty good at the folding screens. It's well protected when you fold it up. Get a case. They sell a case that then hides the gap and all that.
Can you Star Trek it?
No, it's not like.
When you're scrolling, does the bump in the fold
feel it.
bother you?
You see it, but it doesn't bother you, I don't think.
Am I going to get a callus from going through Twitter?
No. The bigger issue to me is these folding screens aren't they don't feel like glass. They're a little softer, so it's a little bit less of a glassy feel. Last year's was I didn't like. This year they've gotten better at it. They're putting a layer of glass on top of it, so I think it's pretty good.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, well, if you want to join us for that event, you can. We'd love to have you going, ooh.
Yeah. We could have a whole
What about
convention.
the chip news?
Yeah, well, you know what? All right, the 19th, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Anybody who wants to join us, please, we'd love to have you. It'll be for sure. Jason and I will be here, and all three of you. Why not? We can have fun, be a party.
Stacking.
Stack avatars. We could do that. We've never tried that. Can we do that, John? All it takes is money, he says.
You got the avatar of God above you. You could do the Craig spot.
We could put Jeff, if you want to be in the dot, you could be in the dot.
I think Stacy should be in the
Stacy should be in the dot going, ooh.
Yes.
Ooh. But you put in all these stories. I'm going to let you talk about them.
Well, I wanted to hear you see if you could explain Mirror to me.
Decentralized Mirror.
Is this something to pay attention to?
It's a publishing platform, a decentralized publishing protocol. Okay. It's apparently on the blockchain.
Yes.
This sounds a lot like
what is it?
This morning's
blockchain isn't automatically bad, you guys.
No, I understand the point of blockchain. It seems
that was
like
less to you and more like Jeff. Like
it seems like overcomplicated. When you use Mirror, you log in with your Ethereum wallet. You got one of those, right? Yeah,
I
actually do.
Oh God, okay.
Some of us do.
You guys are way ahead of me.
We cool kids got them.
You don't use it as username or password. You use your wallet. That's kind of interesting, which means your account is owned by you and lives on an open blockchain instead of a centralized database. All data published on Mirror is cryptographically signed by users and stored on permanent decentralized storage. Okay, so there is a server. Arweave.
Well, decentralized storage, what does that mean?
Let me look.
That's what I'm trying to get to understand here.
Well, in theory, the blockchain, some stuff you wouldn't want to put whole blog posts on the blockchain. That seems, let's see,
people have whole mechanisms for storing chunks of data in different, maybe
IPFS. Yeah, that's the idea of IPFS. Arweave, store data permanently, store documents, and this is interesting. It's a collectively owned hard drive, might be IPFS, that never forgets. Welcome to the perma-web. So this is where your data will be stored. I guess if you're using Arweave, you'd probably have to participate, right? You'd want to give some of your... This actually sounds really interesting, Jeff.
And do you earn tokens?
There's stuff in there for NFTs, too.
Hosting?
They can be integrated in.
Yeah. It natively supports new crypto-native business models around tokens and NFTs. For instance, posts on Mirror can be minted as entry editions, allowing them to be collectible. Collect my blog posts.
But does it pay you for, taking some of your computer storage, I'm going to assume, becomes part of the distributed storage? Do you get tokens for that?
I don't know.
I can't say
that.
Because that's a really I've been high on decentralization for a decade, and with some of these blockchains and token cryptocurrencies, it is actually incentivizing people to maintain consistent records over time, right? Because a big issue is you might sign up and then you're like, screw this, I'm not interested in it, and then you take it offline, right? You don't care. But if you have an economic incentive to maintain it, which is what this can do if you have a token or something like that, the NFT feels a little silly, but that's just me.
Well, even more, this seems like overkill for a blog post, most of which are ephemera.
Yeah, but
hey, speak for yourself.
For Jeff's blog post,
mine are all in granite.
Actually, seriously, your blog posts are real essays and should be preserved. I think they're not being preserved as well as they could be. My blog posts, on the other hand, are ephemera.
Yeah, same here.
I feel like we should just accept that everything is kind of ephemerate. I mean, think about it. Think about all the. Yeah, let's get real deep
Oh,
here.
my God. Now I'm depressed.
But no, just think about, look at how much culture we've lost over time and how haphazard the findings we have are. And it's pure hubris to think that our stuff is really going to yes, we have Shakespeare, but I guarantee you a million other people were writing, maybe not a million, but lots of other people were writing at that time frame, and we've lost a lot of their pamphlets, or they're not worthwhile. So, I don't know.
I think this is cool. For instance, Ant it doesn't have to be blog posts. Could do his photographs this way. You could have a photography blog, and
I'd be totally fine with that.
You can mint the entries, connect the revenue to a stream or auction.
I wonder what the token is.
Yes, it supports crowdfunding, so you can rally the support of your audience. On Mirror, anyone can raise funds for an idea or project using the crowdfund block. You know what? This is really interesting. Thank you for
You also have Token Race. Have you heard about Token Race?
What's that?
Fred Wilson has written about. So Token Race is a way that I'm going to completely blow. If you look up Fred Wilson and Token Race, let's see. It's a way your audience can choose what goes up. Yeah.
To create a token race. Oh, No wonder Fred's writing about this.
It's Mirror.
Is his,
I didn't know that till now.
Mirror is his portfolio company. Okay.
There we go.
So our portfolio company, Mirror, has been using a game mechanic called the Right Race to onboard users to the Mirror service. I'm very interested in this. Yeah. You need a right token to publish on Mirror. The best way to get it is to join the Right Race that happens every Wednesday. Oh, we missed it. 5 p.m. Eastern. Shoot. Anyone who joins a...
We were arguing then.
Yeah, if we had just been stopped yelling at each other, we could have joined the Right Race.
We could have tokens now.
You can now vote for new users in the Right Race. Top vote getters are airdropped a right token and can publish on Mirror. Fred got his right token a while ago. What a surprise.
Yeah.
And he now publishes a mirror image of this blog on Mirror. Yesterday, Mirror announced they've expanded the game mechanic to any activity that requires a token. They call it a token race. Imagine your DAO, don't know what that is, wants to admit new members.
I had to look that up too.
But needs a way to do that. Token race.
Decentralized Autonomous Organization.
That's me. Imagine your DAO wants to distribute funds to worthy crypto projects. Crypto race. Token race. It's like a crypto race. So, to create a token race, the user specifies the address of the ERC20 token contract to use, uploads a list. Oh, this is going to be very mass appeal. Uploads a list of proposals they'd like the community to vote on, and specifies a minimum number of tokens members need to hold to be eligible to vote.
It's just like Civil, which is how the reason I have Ethereum is because I gave money to Civil, which was this whole journalism thing built on the blockchain, wildly overcomplicated. Journalists' heads exploded, and they didn't know what to do, and it died. That's what I fear for this. But let me ask you a question about distributed, though. For all the problems we were talking about earlier, and all we don't want the huge company to be involved, is a distributed thing, though, more vulnerable in the long run?
No.
Why not?
But it's less popular because it's so damn complicated. So I'll use as my example Mastodon, which is our federated Twitter. It's just less popular because you have to figure it out, and it's not. It doesn't.
That doesn't need to be, does it?
Sort of, because you have to find a server, join that server. Then the people you want to follow on other servers, you have to understand that you're following them from there. It's not immediately obvious. It's a little complicated.
I think, though, we're getting to a point. There's some services, and that's why I'm excited about the crypto thing. You can embed a lot of this in hardware. So imagine if you bought Mastodon may not be a great example, but if you bought the Gamers Mastodon server, right? You wouldn't in a box. So basically, or maybe you just bought a Mastodon box and then you connected to certain categories that you liked when you set up your box. I think people are becoming more interested in buying hardware and maintaining it. And so as part of that deal, you are, your own server contributing to the distributed network.
I'm sure in the early days of the World Wide Web, it was a little confusing and complicated. Mm-hmm. And of course, you want to create user layers above. Honestly, a hardware wallet is basically what you were talking about with your personal blob months ago on this show. And I can imagine that your phone could have a hardware wallet, or you'd have a separate device that's a hardware wallet that is your identity blob. And it has everything. It has links to the blockchain where your personal stuff is stored, things like that you control access. You could, this is, I agree, very interesting. Right now, crazy complex, much more.
Get a load of this one. Token Race supports voting on behalf of a multi-sig account without requiring multi-sig holders to sign their vote using the multi-sig. In order to vote on behalf of a multi-sig, add your multi-sig address to the Token Race page. Once it's verified, you'll be able to vote on behalf of the multi-sig.
So that's using your wallet.
Get me at it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And Fred, I listen to Fred. Fred's smart. There's something here. I just can't.
Oh, it's totally something. This is very, very interesting to me.
Well, I put it there.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to figure this out and do it.
Yeah, I found a couple links, and I'm going to look at it some too.
Yeah.
Especially since I already have wallets.
Yeah, I see. And you've posted. What did you post there? You posted a token.
I found them on Etherscan.
Oh, okay.
The token. So it shows you all the information about the token and how many holders there are and stuff like that, so people can research it.
If you want to read about this, it's dev.mirror.xyz. Or
Sorry.
Yeah, even the address is opaque. You mean .com? XYZ.com? That's where I should go? XYZ.com? No.
I've put it in our IRC and I've put it in our Discord.
Dev.mirror.xyz. You mean .com? No.
Nope. No.
XYZ.com? No. I have
/XYZ?
I have enough trouble explaining to people that my son's account is salt_Hank. They go, what's that?
Does he regret the underscore?
No, it's too late now. He ain't going to change it.
Yeah, you can't change it.
I don't think he regrets it. He's always, he's ahead of me.
Toolkit.
Yeah, he's cool. He's way ahead of me. 1 million followers on TikTok.
Show us the way, Hank. Show us the way.
Show us the way.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ant, you should be doing him on the Discord server.
Well,
you're
Ask
right.
him anything.
he would absolutely love to be on it. I guess TikTok is back up now, huh? Yeah. All right. I feel like our rundown has taken on the attributes of Twitter now for me. I don't understand any of this. What's going on?
Sorry, I put stuff in there. It's how I do my research every week.
Google's Coral AI kit. Does Miss Stacy have thoughts? Okay, let's look at it. I don't know.
What does it mean?
That was brought up this morning on Floss Weekly by
What line is
Mr.
that?
It's
John
right after
44.
the
Isn't it?
right after the Mirror XYZ.
Oh,
Coral.ai.
In the quick takes.
You mean coral.com?
do they have? No.
.ai.com, Jeff.
Coral.ai.
Oh, okay.
Alexandra, tune
is this
in
just a dev
coral.com.
It's a dev kit
All
for
right,
their
Stacey.
Coral compute.
Oh, it's hardware.
Yeah, it's just Coral is their AI compute board. They've had it for a while, so I'm just like, what's new here?
I did see there's a RISC
They had a
5.
new USB device.
There's a new RISC 5 board from Intel out, which is interesting.
The fact that Intel's making a RISC-V board is pretty interesting. Although, like, NVIDIA's had them for a long time. They built them to manage some of their processing on their massive, big GPUs. But, like, Intel usually poo-poos everything, so I'm pretty intrigued by
Intel's
that.
probably terrified is what's happening.
I was going to say, they're just trying to join
I
the
thought they
party,
were-
essentially.
Yeah. RISC-V, for
Yeah,
those
they're-
who haven't been following our conversations about it, is a new architecture, open source microarchitecture for processors, kind of like x86 would be, or ARM. It's RISC, so I bet it's ARM-like. I don't know if it's related to ARM.
It is a RISC and style instruction set,
Right.
yes.
And Intel's not exactly building fabs for this; they're putting it on FPGAs, so they can program them with machines. But still, the Nios V processor is the next generation of
Oh, so
soft
they're using it
processor.
actually just like NVIDIA's been using it.
Yeah.
So this makes sense
They're
because
not
you can
building a
cheaply
processor yet.
optimize and
Exactly.
control your FPGAs with this. Yeah.
But that's the first step, isn't it?
It is, and it's not like Intel actually has to pay licensing fees. So
Beauty part. It's free, man. Open.
the hardest thing. Oh,
I would guess there's like GPL style licensing for it. If you use it, you can't. There's restrictions on how you can use it. I don't know.
I don't think there are restrictions on how you can use it a lot. I mean, one of the challenges of using RISC-V is most people are not chip designers. Like that's a
Right.
pretty esoteric skill set.
Right.
So you usually go to is it Sci-5?
Scilabs.
Yeah,
that's where.
No. That's Silicon Labs.
Oh.
Sci-5, I think, is there's so many Sci companies.
Mr. Huggy. So he's good. He's cute anyway.
Yeah, Sci-5.
Okay, Mr.
Sci-5
Huggy
is a
said
company
Intel did an IP and fab deal with Scilabs for RISC-V. Sci-Fi is related? Sci-Fi?
No, Sci-5 is a company. They're a fabless chip company, but they do compilers and they make it really easy for you to bring your ideas to RISC-V. They're kind of like
Neat.
I don't know how, but Intel was actually in talks to buy them. That was the big rumor, which would have been a big freaking deal. Anyway, I don't know why we were talking about this. Psi Labs.
British regulators getting involved, setting out rules that I think might be a little challenging for TikTok, Snap, and OnlyFans. They want age verification. Admittedly,
you end up with identity verification, which means you end up screwing vulnerable people around anonymity.
I don't think so. You can still be anonymous on the web. You do need to have. We do need. I know people are going to hate this, and it just depends on how you mandate it.
Oh boy.
You need to have a credible digital identity that is protected and that is attributed to you, and that isn't like.
But it could just say your name.
Another social security number.
Yeah. Just say your birth date and verify that. And I have the token.
Well, and you can
it's
think
me.
about,
you don't know my name or address, but you do know my birth date is over 18 or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
the problem is
they also things with it.
They also want to control hate speech. They must video streaming platforms.
Harmful speech that isn't even illegal, but is harmful.
Yeah.
So when the government tells you it's legal but harmful, then it becomes de facto de jure illegal.
Right.
So the government said, but they won't tell you what is harmful. It's just your ass.
We know it when we see it.
Oh.
Video streaming platforms under the new regulation must ask the age of users and take down harmful, illegal content, including hate speech and terrorism, or face heavy fines, the UK media regulator, Ofcom.
You know somebody who'd be great to have on the network? I don't think you've had on before. Maybe you have. Jeff Kossoff.
No. Let's get him.
So Jeff wrote the 26 Words That Created the Internet. He wrote
Great book.
Definitive book on 230. His next book, which is just coming out, which I blurbed, is on anonymity and the need for anonymity. And Jeff's a law professor and brilliant at this stuff.
Jason, let's see if we can get him on a twig. KOSIF?
KOSSEF.
KOSSEF, Kossoff.
The 26 Words That Created the Internet is a brilliant book. It really is. It explains the history of 230 and really well. And his anonymity book is good too. And he defends the need for anonymity. So that goes to the question, Stacey, is it possible to have an identity that is not tied to you? But if you're going to have verified age, somehow it's tied to you. So who do you trust to do that? You end up in the death of anonymity spiral, I think.
Well, you may remember that the original Ofcom regulation required you to go to a bar and show them your ID.
Can I see some porn, Mike?
The bar would then pass along. Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. The guidance does not, according to analysts, not put pressure on video platforms to roll out any major product changes, such as new age verification technology, because Ofcom admits consumers could just switch to services headquartered outside the UK. That's called an unintended consequence. The regulator said it hopes to coordinate these requirements with counterparts in Europe and elsewhere. Here, so there is a globally consistent regulatory framework in the future. Analysts said the regulation and the guidelines were not meaningful and were inherently set up to fail because they don't address the biggest player in the video streaming industry, YouTube, which doesn't have the correct kind of office. Doesn't have a regional office in the UK.
It's in Ireland.
They're in Ireland, exactly.
Right. And plus, this is also pre-legislation, so it's a weird thing to do where the regulator is deciding to regulate without the laws behind it. It's very odd.
Big. Well, I'm going to take a break, and then we will talk about probably the biggest security story of the week in just a little bit. Our show today brought to you by Udacity, and I am a fan. Udacity was founded about 10 years ago. I think they just had their 10th anniversary. Congratulations, Udacity. I joined them shortly thereafter. We were talking about it on Twig when they founded because they created the nanodegree program, and they did it first with Google. And the whole idea was Sebastian Thrun, who was a Googler at the time, who said, we're getting people coming to Google want a job. They've got computer science degrees. They've got credentials up the wazoo, which is a very painful place to put your credentials. And they still aren't the people we want to hire because they don't have the skills, the basic skills. So Udacity was created, and these nanodegree programs were created to give people from any stripe, any walk of life, the skills they need to get the jobs that are needing more people all the time at the biggest companies in the world. Udacity is here to encourage your career growth. They want to provide you. They were founded to provide you with information about the career you want, to give you the skills for that career, then help you even get the job. They have unique content, the latest cutting-edge nanodegree programs you cannot find anywhere else in amazing areas like flying car and autonomous flight engineer, AI, intro to self-driving cars, machine learning engineer, robotics software engineer, and more. The top 5 nanodegree programs right now, and this shows you how kind of you're working in the future. Data engineering, product manager, data analyst, data scientist, and programming for data science with Python. Those are the top 5 right now. But there are many, many, many more programs. We've seen some great success stories. Jobin said, Udacity, this is a quote, Udacity armed me with skills to develop models and gave me an innovative experience with quick, high-quality, recurring feedback. Aaron said, Udacity's nanodegree programs and Career Resource Center played an integral part in helping me land a job offer from Google. Right on, Aaron. Udacity's courses are created with the biggest companies like Microsoft, Google, IBM, AWS. Your teachers will be team leads at top companies, so you're going to learn from the best. You're going to get the knowledge you need from people who are working in that field every day. Courses are project-based, really important, hands-on. You got to do it to know it. It's not enough just to watch the lectures. So you're going to get code reviews. You're going to get qualified professionals looking at your homework. You're going to get exactly the kind of treatment you'd get in these big companies. It really prepares you for that job. But don't worry, you're not on your own. You've got access to mentors 24/7. You get great, real human feedback. And no matter what your schedule, Udacity can fit in. Just a few hours a week at your own pace, you can graduate in as little as 3 months. Very flexible. Because Udacity is a true global enterprise. They're all over the world. If your team, they've got Udacity for Enterprise too. I want to mention this. If your team needs to master cutting-edge technologies like data science or AI, or everybody wants their team to know cybersecurity, Udacity for Enterprise can upskill your entire workforce with real-world project-based learning. Check out the Enterprise section of Udacity's website today to learn more. Bottom line, get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. There's some great stuff there. It's fun. You'll learn, and we got an amazing deal. Udacity.com/twit. You'll get 75% off any program. 75% when you use the code TWIT75. Now, this is a limited time offer, so do it right now. Go to udacity.com/twit. Don't forget the offer code TWIT75. Get a $100,000 or more tech career in as little as 3 months. Udacity.com/twit. Offer code TWIT75. You know you want to. Make sure you use that. Make sure that you use that URL so they know you saw it here, and the offer code for sure. TWIT75. The entirety of Twitch has been leaked.
You have good sponsors.
I know, don't we?
You do. Mm-hmm. You do. Udacity's another good one.
I think one of the reasons is we've been talking about Udacity for a decade because it was the Google connection, and it's on this show we've been talking about it. This is bad. This is not a ransomware attack. This is not some hackers trying to make money. They're not selling it on the net. Today, a user posted a 125 gigabyte torrent link on 4chan that basically contains everything on Twit. The poster said
Twitch.
I'm sorry, Twitch. No, you don't get our source code. No way, man.
There isn't any.
There's source code. Amazon owns Twitch. AWS serves Twitch. What
does that mean? All of Twitch? I don't understand that.
You get the source code. You get projects Twitch hasn't announced that the code for those. You get how much money people are getting paid on Twitch. You are getting passwords, although it looks like the passwords were salted and then encrypted with bcrypt later. But apparently, somebody was looking at the code on Twitter. It's so confusing. Twitch, Twitter, Twit. Stop the insanity. So I was reading on Twitter, somebody's looking at the code saying, the way they coded this, you could use the salted hash as the password, and it would go, yeah, come on in. So,
oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I know. So normally you salt it so that it's a one-way process. So you can compare the salted hash, but the idea is that nobody has the password in the clear. Well, anyway, I don't know.
Oh.
Look, if you have a Twitch account, I did this immediately. Change your password, turn on two-factor for sure. Twitch internally is aware of the breach, according to one anonymous company source. This is from VideoGamesChronicle.com. And it's believed the data was obtained as recently as Monday. This is not old stuff.
Is there an AWS angle here?
Yeah. This is on AWS. We don't know exactly. We've seen breaches from poorly protected S3 buckets, things like that. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. The poster said...
I can't imagine that Twitch would have all their stuff in an unprotected S3 bucket.
You'd think they'd be smart. Twitch has confirmed the leak is authentic. We, quote, we can confirm a breach has taken place. Our teams are working with urgency to understand the extent of this. We'll update the community as soon as additional information is available. Thank you for bearing with us. The entirety of Twitch's source code, their Git repository, with commit history going back to its early beginnings, I would guess that's Justin.tv. Creator payout reports from 2019. Actually, they're 2019 through September 2021.
Gamers making six figures, folks.
Many. The one I liked, Chess Masters making some good money. Grandmasters like Hikaru made, I think, $257,000 last year on, which is great because chess masters historically are kind of a threadbare bunch. So I'm just glad to see
it's no Sudoku.
It's no Sudoku.
I was just going to say, how's your Sudoku guy doing?
I wonder. He's probably doing big. You get the mobile. Here's what you get.
Well done, Ant.
Here's what you get with your 128 gigabyte download. Mobile, desktop, and console Twitch clients, proprietary SDKs, and internal AWS services used by Twitch. Every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge, an unreleased Steam competitor Twitch was working on, codenamed Vapor from Amazon Game Studios, Twitch internal red teaming tools designed to improve security by having staff pretend to be hackers. Whoops. Holy cow. The hacker posted saying, quote, the leak was intended to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space because their community is a disgusting, toxic cesspool.
Oh, another one. Jeez.
Unity code for a game called Vape World, which appears to be a chat software based on Vapor. Popular streamers such as Shroud, Nick Merckx, and Dr. Lupo have earned millions. More than 80 streamers have earned over $1 million in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Good for them.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Although I've seen people say, well, that's it. I'm not giving them any more money. No, they earn it. It's fine. 81 Twitch streamers have been paid more than $1 million since August 2019. Top of this list is Crucial Role, which is a team of voice actors who stream Dungeons & Dragons sessions. Now, that's nerdy. They've made, get ready for this, stand back, $9.6 million over the past 2 years.
Crapping me.
That's Twit money, man. They're doing good.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to see this. Also earning more than $5 million, Overwatch player XQCOW, or maybe that's XQCow, Counter-Strike platers, Summit 1G, Fortnite, I think they meant players, Summit 1G, Fortnite player Tafui, and FaZe, Clan co-owner Nick Merckx. Here's the list of Twitch's highest paid streamers.
Can we go on right now and look at one of these?
You want to see Tim the Tat Man?
Sure.
I'm still trying to figure out how to change my password.
You want to see Critical Role? All right, let's go to, before you do anything else, you might want to change your password. Let's go to Crucial Role. Oh, unless you got a time machine. This content, I think I probably did it wrong.
Oh, maybe they earned that money and left. I would. I mean, I no longer want to work all the time.
Out of here. Oh, and you know what? I have two-factor, so hold on a second. I have to authenticate. Hold on. Okay. Okay. It wasn't, by the way, I set up two-factor and then it didn't work. So let me see if it's working now. Yes, it is. Good. All right. So now, search for
any of them.
Who was it again? God, I forgot already.
Critical Force?
Critical Role, I think. Crucial Role.
Oh, Critical Role, sorry.
Crucial Role. No results.
Problem with branding.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't yell at
Okay, well,
Critical
let's pick
Role.
someone else.
Yeah, no, I want it now. I want it now, Critical. I want it now. Let's see what $9.6 million. Yeah, I think they left.
That's awesome.
Never mind.
Took the source code with them.
Never mind. All right, who else? Tim the Tap Man. I want to follow Tim the Tap Man. Tim.
Okay, my password.
Oh, I'm filtering by categories. I want to go. That's why. Critical. I'm just user error. Pebcac. Tim the Tat. Man, do you think he's doing tattoos live? No, it's not.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah.
I can't follow. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because they're not live right now. That's why.
Well, they don't have tapes of it up?
Tapes? What are you talking about? Tapes.
They don't pull out the
Just
VHS.
live.
They got tapes of it. I got here we go. Critical Role. This is check out this chatting stream for 6 days ago. I want to see them playing a game.
Yeah, that's what I.
Here you go. Oh man, I got to subscribe. No wonder they're making so much money.
Yeah.
How do you make money on Twitch? You make money because people throw money at you.
Getting commitments.
Yeah.
You got to subscribe.
I will say, I was surprised. My daughter is now in a D&D club. The
Ooh, it's
D&D is
$5.
super hot with the kids right now.
$5 a
about
month for Critical Role. That's interesting. I
Right,
wish.
don't pay that.
No, I'm not going to pay that. Anyway,
That's how they got
we
their
move on?
millions.
that's now we know.
Clearly.
But you know what? I
That's
mean,
a
we're
lot
not,
of $5 a month.
That's a
Jesus.
lot. I mean,
Good on them.
yeah.
Hello, Twit Club. Twit Club. Come on.
Come on, club.
Twit Club.
No, some of these
Make
people
Leo
are
happy.
on like a lot. I mean,
15-hour days.
we're ready to. I complain about
streaming.
being on for like almost 3 hours.
No, they work for
Clearly,
this.
I'm not cut out for this.
By the way, 3 of the streamers on the list have confirmed to the
Abrupt.
BBC that the figures are accurate. So this is the real deal. Twitch is confirming it. People are confirming the data. People are looking at the source code saying, yeah, this looks like the real deal. Fortnite streamer BBG Calc told BBC News the earnings list got my figure 100% correct. Wow. Anyway, biggest breach, at least in terms of, the impact to the real world. In a way, I'm glad they weren't ransomed. They're not. They probably would have gladly paid millions not to have that revealed. But
This feels kind of like the Sony hack in the sense that it just feels like vengeance.
yeah, vengeance is mine, saith the hacker.
So, Leo, have you been following Bad Art Friend? Considering that you have a tiny kidney, you might need to make a friend.
Who's Bad Art Friend?
Bad Art Friend is a story in the New York Times.
Okay.
That everybody's going nuts for right now.
Okay. Is this
Where a woman went on social media and said, I'm going to give away my kidney to somebody I don't know just to do it because I want to be wonderful.
Aw.
And then people started thinking that this was a little overdone. And then a writer, this is an unpublished writer, and then a published writer came and wrote a story pulling pieces of the chat as part of that story. So now everybody's in a kerfuffle all over creation about her and her kidney. But I bring this up only because it's relevant to you with your...
They used doctors
diminutive
to
kidney
find
he
somebody who
has.
needed a kidney but wouldn't otherwise get one.
Right.
In fact, she eventually did meet him, and she started posting, celebrating her 1-year kidney-versary. You know what the good news about my particular plight? I cannot donate a kidney now, so don't ask.
I can ask you. You're like,
Yours,
I'm
all
sorry, I have a
yours."
shrunken kidney.
I don't know if it's not functioning or just less functioning or what. They don't really tell you that. They just say your kidney's kind of small.
Well, some
I feel
people
like,
have
Leo,
a
you are a
smaller
walking
foot when
poster
they're
child
born.
for why not to do this.
This is okay. So I've been thinking about this because we talked about it. We were talking about it earlier. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I had done a full body scan, an MRI, and it's like very detailed. Takes an hour. A pain in the butt, noisy, but it didn't scare. Wasn't claustrophobic. So, And then they come back to you with your pictures and they say, well, here's the 20 things wrong with you. And what I realized is, of course, first of all, if you just look at your skin, you know there's things wrong with you on the outside, right? Everybody's got a flaw. You know, have an eye that turns in or whatever. But you don't know about the things that are wrong with you inside. You just go along merrily living your life. Well, now you know. Mm-hmm. And, you know, none of it was life-threatening for me. One of the things I learned, I don't have heart disease. I don't have makings of an aneurysm, and there is no cancers. So all of that is what I wanted to know.
That's
right?
worth it, it would seem to me.
Yeah. But then you learn things like, I don't even know what it means. Your spine ends at T2. I don't know what that means. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. They say there's something on your liver that could make your shoulder hurt. No, actually what they say is it's probably nothing, but if your right shoulder hurts, see a doctor. And I thought, what? Because what's really weird is my right shoulder was hurting, but now it's all better, so I don't think it's related to the liver.
Right.
It's more like lifting. It's weird little things like that. I have one of my mastoids is full.
I still laugh about that.
No, they don't know what. Look at the picture. You see, it's full. You can see it's full. The other one's empty. One's full, one's empty. So they said
full of
fluid, I guess, but it could be tar. I don't know. It looks like tar. But they say, look, you should probably have this looked at. How? I don't know. Whether they put something in your ear? I don't know. You should have this looked at because if it got infected, you get a bad earache. You could lose your hearing if it's really bad. But it's been there probably my whole life, right?
Whole life.
So that's exactly.
They check that with a CT scan.
Yeah. So they could actually go see. Yeah, I was going to send that one to my doctor. And then they would give you antibiotics and would go away.
So would you do this again or not?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh, now what I wish is I'd done it when I was young, because then you'd have a baseline of all the things that are wrong with me. I don't know how long I've had a bad kidney, but maybe it could be congenital.
You can't
don't
say
know.
it's bad.
It's not even bad. It's just a little smaller than the other.
Just smaller.
It's 7 centimeters, but a normal kidney is like 12. Yeah, it's like being it could be like that, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but now I have a baseline. So if it gets any smaller, then that would be a cause for concern.
No, wait a minute. See, now you're setting yourself up for torture.
So, no, I'm going back. They said you should come back. Of course they did. Every 18 months.
Well, of course they did, yeah. Well, hello.
Okay.
No, but I think this is good because now I have a baseline.
Optimized
If something changes, you'll know because you now know what it looks like.
You still don't know what it is. I mean, like your kidney might expand to 24 inches.
Well, then I'd want to know
centimeters.
that. Wouldn't I want to know that? I think I'd want to know that.
What if they say like, that's weird or different, we think, but we don't know what it means. And then you're like, oh, crikey. Now
that's what you have to be prepared for, is this knowledge that everybody's imperfect. There's no perfect human. So you're going to find out about things that are imperfect. Are they bad? Well, if you have no symptoms, maybe not. I found out what I really want to know: no heart disease, no cancers, no aneurysm. That's important because that's something that could kill you like that. So I wanted to know that. And the rest of it, I'll just kind of live with the knowledge. And then I do want to go in every couple of years just to make sure that nothing's changed. Look, it's expensive. That's the problem. It's $2,500. And most people are not going to spend that kind of money. But I can afford it, so I'm going to do it.
They said, no, it may not be a problem, but I have been eyeballing a yacht, so make sure you come back.
So the Discord chat is finding every perfect.
All the animated GIFs.
They're so good.
I'm so sorry. I totally oversharing. I know. I'm totally
the next one up.
Totally oversharing.
There, that
one right there is great.
That's me. That's exactly what it looked like. And the guy is literally sitting on the screen while you're doing it. And he says, because you have to do things like hold your breath for and to get a steady shot. And so he's saying, oh, that's good. That's a good one. Oh, that's nice.
Is that all there is to that? Oy.
Great shot. What's wrong with that kidney? Well, never mind. We'll talk about that later. No, they were very professional. It was good. It's actually great. And in theory, I have a phone call they owe me with a doctor. But I think what I'm just going to do is give it to my doctor and say, look, doc, if you think there's anything we should do something about it, then I'll do it. But otherwise, keep this in your back on file.
Throw in one other person to pay in this scenario. So now you're paying the doctor.
I get medical insurance. Yeah. No, I think that I know people who, have died suddenly from aneurysms. My aunt did. I know people who have gotten, found out they had cancer when it was at stage 4 or stage 5. So if you could find out at stage 1, wouldn't you want to know that?
Yeah, and that's something considering, like this is the month of October and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
With COVID-19, a lot of the checkups didn't really happen. And
that's
so
right.
Now people are catching this stuff a little later than they would have normally caught it. So I feel you on that.
Well, don't feel my kidney because it's a little small.
No, I'm not going to do it. No.
But it's good because now I have an excuse. If anybody says, hey, I need a kidney, I'm saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I need both. One small.
I got a dinky kidney.
I got a little one.
I can't.
It's too much information.
Like, we get to do this for a living.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Nobody wants to know that or needs to know that. I'm so sorry. Google is investing $1 billion into Africa, including a new subsea cable, so that Africa will have faster internet. That's pretty cool.
So let's just put this in perspective, though. Google just last week spent $2.1 billion to buy a building in New York.
Well, you got to have both.
Yeah. $1 billion for Africa?
New York's expensive.
Yeah.
It should be more expensive.
The $1 billion will be spread over 5 years to support Africa's digital transformation to cover a range of initiatives, from improved connectivity to investment in startups. Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Ghana. I have to say, yes, it should. It's not enough. Other companies should do it. Maybe it should be more.
But we'll take everything we get. Yeah.
Africa has historically just been ignored.
Plus, what's happening? There's fascinating things happening there. The Kenyan and Nigerian startup scenes are amazing. Nigeria is becoming a major hub for new online fintech.
There you go.
Old-time banking. I mean, there's stuff to be learned. A lot of stuff to be learned.
The subsea cable will cut across South Africa, Namibia, Nigeria, and St. Helena, connecting Africa and Europe. It'll provide 20 times more network capacity than the last cable built to serve Africa. This will lead, according to the managing director for Google in Africa, Nitin Gajiria, to a 21% reduction in internet prices and increased internet speed in Nigeria, almost triple in South Africa. See, Google knows more internet's good for Google.
Yeah.
It's a nice virtuous nice virtuous cycle. It's projected to create about 1.7 million jobs in Nigeria and South Africa by 2025.
$1 billion does go farther.
It's a lot of money. They've also launched the Africa Investment Fund. It'll invest $50 million in startups across the continent. And they'll give them access to Google employees, network, and technologies. That's exciting. I think that's great. Good for you. Google is also working with Swedish engineers to build a carbon emissions tracker. You're going to see, I think, over the next 10 years, a lot of activity in climate change and carbon capture.
Do we want to talk about Google's sustainability event that was on Tuesday?
Oh, yes. Did you watch?
I did watch.
So I'm going to give you an example of what I think is corporate BS. Microsoft announced their Ocean Mouse, which is made from recycled ocean plastic. And then if you look at the fine print, only 20% of the outer shell is made from recycled ocean plastic. So there's a lot of plastic in that thing, but only 1/5 of just the outside part is.
Same thing with the iPhone. They say that crap every year.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah,
It's lip
they're
service.
doing all this. Well, and Dow just talked about building are you ready for this? A carbon neutral plastics plant. I'm like,
what?
Sorry.
Is it not going to use petroleum to make the plastic?
Yeah, I'm like, how do we make plastic, everyone?
It could make plastic with soybeans. You can make it without hydrocarbons.
Yes, and mushrooms. They are not doing that.
No. So anyway, Google has always said we're carbon neutral. They have been since 2007. They want to be carbon free by 2030. I don't know if that means using carbon credits or actually being carbon free. But, Google, those network centers use a lot of juice. So what did they announce?
Proactively. And I was going to say also, Google's been very proactive, Facebook as well, at buying renewable energy credits ahead of putting a data center somewhere to help goose demand for renewable power in places they're going. So I think that's actually very proactive. So they announced a couple things. I was most interested in the Nest stuff because they did a deal where when you search for things on maps, they're going to show you the most eco-friendly way to get there.
Oh, good. I'll do that.
So that's an option. The most fuel efficient route. They're also, if you're going to take public transportation, they will show you the most, like the non-diesel buses, if they're electric buses. When you're booking flights, you will be able to book flights based on carbon consumption. So things like if you buy a first class seat, and they're doing it at the seat level. So if you're like, I'm going to buy a first class seat, you're going to consume more carbon because you take up more space on the plane. So you'll get a notice about that. I think that's kind of a little bit of lip service. I think it's nice for people who like still believe in individual efforts for affecting climate change. So that's fine. And you can, look up like eco-friendly hotels and stuff like that. On the Nest front, they're actually basically using their market power or the market power of anyone who signs up for this to buy renewable energy credits. You'll pay $10 a month as part of this subscription. So I should tell you the free subscription, the free option is they will let you use your energy consuming devices, things that consume more energy at times when renewable energy is being produced.
Oh, that's good. So
then
green,
your home will use
that's
more
the green dots
green
versus the black dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, this video is just brilliant. I'm like, oh God, it's so adorable.
It's really adorable. Everything's made of wood in the future or cork. So that's good.
And then the extra feature is you pay, and what they're going to do is they're going to aggregate all those payments in areas to say, hey, we're going to buy carbon or renewable energy credits for these people. And then that'll incentivize more construction of renewable power in that area.
Good.
You can actually do that through other places. Kevin and I spent a lot of time trying to figure this all out because he already does that. And then there was a third thing that I don't remember. I'm sorry.
We, when we travel, we buy, there's a lot of evidence that tree planting projects and others are not as good as they thought. But when we travel, we go to the Good Traveler when we fly, and we buy carbon credits there. And TWiT is buying now from TerraPass carbon credits for our business. It's because but again, this doesn't mean you don't. I mean, we got a lot of lights and we use a lot of power and stuff. But the idea is you buy credits, and it's actually surprisingly inexpensive. And they use those. You give them money, and they use those credits to buy programs. And this one's good. TerraPass, they buy programs near you, which is nice for things like land gas capture and clean energy from wind power and farm power.
This goes back to Stacey's point way earlier. I'm not bringing up the topic again, but the true cost of things, and that's why carbon taxes, and having a cost to causing the damage, will make more sense.
Yeah, Lisa and I love to travel. We know that planes and cruise ships are horrible polluters, and we don't want an
electric sailboat.
Yeah, I wish I had an electric sailboat. We do have, we generate all our power at home with solar panels. But so we buy carbon credits, which makes us feel a little bit better. I don't want to do performative sustainability. And you're right, Stacey, you raised the most important issue is individual effort going to do anything? We need governmental and corporate effort. We need to fix this globally. But it makes us feel a little bit better, and I guess it helps a little bit.
I mean, yes, it keeps you from being as depressed and feeling as morally
That's not
culpable.
so bad. Yeah, but also I think it does help. I hope it helps. And we decided a while ago we wanted to make TWiT be carbon neutral, so we buy these TerraPass.
That's off to you.
Yeah. It's not. You know what? It's surprisingly inexpensive. It's a few $100 per plane flight, something like that. So, yeah, if people are interested, TerraPass.com is the carbon credits for businesses and so forth. And for travel, it's the Good Traveler. And I got this from the Yale Forestry Department. This is what they use. So I figure, well, if the Yale Forestry School uses
Yale
this,
says so.
it's got to be okay.
They only plant ivy.
Ivy everywhere. It's cool. You enter in your flight, and it also considers, your first-class costs and so forth. And then it's not very expensive. So that's good. And then they pay for carbon offsets, which I guess is like tree planting mostly. But there was a big article on how tree planting is not the panacea that we would hope it to be. Google engineers are helping a Swedish startup to build a carbon emissions tracker. I mentioned that. But now I've said it again. So saying it twice is better, right? Let's move on.
At that age where we forget what we've said.
What did I say earlier? What did I tell you? I told you something.
You talking about your kidney? Oh, yeah.
Google's DeepMind has made money. If it's so smart, why didn't it make money sooner? First ever profit because they can embed this AI stuff in commercial products. It lost £500 million in 2019. I wish I could lose £500 million. I think I've gained 3 pounds. It's the first sign that Google's huge investment in the research outfit is starting to pay off, according to the Financial Times. £46 million pre-tax profit. Nice. Revenues derived entirely from applying its technology to commercial alphabet projects. Oh, it's even in-house. So it's just moving money around, I guess. Google is, as you mentioned, updating Maps, Search, and other products to help you save energy. Traffic light efficiency. Do you want to talk about that, Stacey?
Oh, that's their other sustainable thing. You're right. Basically, it's AI to figure out how to keep people idling less at traffic lights to produce fewer emissions. And I don't know.
That's slick.
I'm not 100%.
I had a car.
It sounds so fluffy.
I had a car that when you were stopped would turn its engine off.
A lot of cars do that.
Yeah, the hybrids do that.
Yeah, my Audi did. And the reason I found out
electric.
was because New York City, that's the law, right, Jeff? If you're at a light, you're supposed to turn off your car.
No.
Yes, it's the law.
No.
Wow, really?
No.
Maybe they need to tell
Otherwise,
more
how
people.
the hell do we get off the green so fast?
Maybe they need to tell more people about this law.
You're not supposed to idle. You're not supposed to stop on parking and idle.
Oh, but not lights? Okay.
No, not lights.
Okay. No person shall allow the engine of a car to idle for longer than 3 minutes while parking, standing, or stopping.
Well, that means you're at the side.
Sounds like
you're
a traffic light.
Somewhere. It doesn't mean traffic lights are quick in this town. We are fast in this town, man. We don't waste 3 minutes at a traffic light.
Well,
Florida.
there's more. In addition, the legal idling time is reduced from 3 minutes to 1 minute around public and private school facilities. So if you're in a
don't
school
pull
zone,
off and stop. Right.
Yeah, you can't idle there.
When you send the car service to pick up Percy,
little Jimmy.
yeah.
Okay. So it's not stoplights. It's just you can't.
I can see Leo driving in New York. I thought I was supposed to turn off my engine. They're all rear-ending me.
No, but the nice thing is that car anyway. It would, and as soon as you put your foot on the pedal, it would start up, and it didn't seem like it, was a big deal.
I even did a cheap rental car.
It's always a big deal to
week.
New Yorkers. Good Lord.
Oh, I know.
They're like the second that light turns green, they're like honk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we should be. We got places to go. We got things to do. And these tourists are always walking slow in front of us. And it pisses us off.
Oh, please. That's not tourists. That's New Yorkers. God, you can spot a New Yorker anywhere else in the country because they're like, you're at a stoplight or a crosswalk and they're like halfway in the middle, like ready to Frogger out there.
Yeah.
I love it.
But what I'm saying is the tourists are the ones who walk and drive slowly in front of us, keeping us from where we need to go.
In the words of Fran Lebowitz, pretend it's a city. Have you watched that yet?
No, I still haven't.
Oh, God, you got to watch that. It's so funny.
She was so funny.
Isn't she? It's on Netflix.
Just watched Billions.
All right, we're going to... what do you think? Are you disappointed? No spoilers. No spoilers.
At least there was no one was yanked up by a construction crane.
What movie was that?
That was a reference to an earlier show in which a certain character appeared.
Oh. Okay, I have to rewatch.
Homeland. It's Damian Lewis.
That's Homeland.
Oh, Damian Lewis. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's Showtime's
So now I kind of
person.
Actually, it's when you watch Billions, it's kind of sad because Damian's wife was dying in the process of these final few episodes, and so it's very sad. But he, what a trooper, man. Great Great actor. Yep. Oh, get ready, because that two-step verification we mentioned before that Google's turning on, here it comes. They're turning on. This is going to be fun. I can't wait to do the radio show that weekend.
Oh boy.
By the end of the year,
150.
Oh my God. Google is going to start enabling two-factor authentication. This month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Today, Google provided an update on its account two-step verification efforts. Right now, Google says, it's not clear what this means. We are enrolling people who have. That's very okay.
And we're connecting to your ETH wallet.
Yeah. Okay. We recognize that today's 2SV, they call it 2SV, which drives me crazy, two-step verification, instead of MFA or 2FA, which everybody else calls it, aren't suitable for everyone. So we're working on technologies that provide a convenient, secure authentication experience.
Grandpa.
Alexandria, why can't I get into my Google?
What? Two-step. I used to two-step with Grandma.
I did the two-step.
I was quite the two-stepper.
Reduce the reliance on passwords in the long term. Right now, we're auto-enrolling. This is what I was trying to get to. Right now, we're auto-enrolling Google accounts that have the proper backup mechanisms in place.
If you own a Google camera phone?
To make a seamless transition to two-factor. To make sure, you can do the security checkup if you want to see. As part of our security work, we led the invention of security keys. Oh, please, Google.
Oh.
That is taking a little too much credit. Another form of authentication, YubiKey was around before you got involved in all this. It requires you to tap your key during suspicious sign-in attempts. What? Wait a minute. Requires you to tap your key during suspicious sign-in attempts.
Yeah, the little notification, it pops up on your phone.
Every once in a while, you got to tap your key? What?
Oh,
if I try to log in,
your physical key.
I know, that's crazy. This is poorly written. We know security keys provide the highest degree of sign-in security possible. That's why we've partnered with organizations to provide free security keys. Oh, don't get your hopes up. To over 10,000 high-risk users this year. Something like this is the YubiKey.
Oh, okay, the YubiKeys.
Yeah, that's what devices. I use. Yeah.
Okay.
To make security keys more accessible, we build the capability right into Android phones and our Google Smart Lock app on Apple devices. So it'll use the already built-in fingerprint or Face ID to be the second factor. Today, over 2 billion devices around the world automatically support the strongest, most convenient 2SV technology available. So it's the end of this year, but it's not by the end of 2021. We plan to auto-enroll an additional 150 million Google users and require 2 million YouTube creators to turn it on.
I don't remember if it specified using SMS in there.
No, this is not fear. SMS. No.
Is that would be my fear?
No.
Regular people would try to find an easy way out of this, and
they're
not going to check email.
Yeah, no. I think there might be a fallback to email or SMS. That's a good point, but this is intended to use devices you already have somehow. I hope it's not. You're right, and that would be not a good. I guess it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing, but it's still going to be a problem down the road.
Yeah. You must have put this in. Who put this in? YouTube is looking to hire its first executive.
I put that in.
You do this to taunt me.
I do.
YouTube looks to hire its first executive focused
I think Jason put it in also,
on podcasts. The video site is looking for someone to manage the growing number of podcasts uploaded every day. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought you might.
Is it foreshadowing to more exclusive to YouTube content, similar to what Spotify is doing?
Somebody got to fill in Lucas Shaw, the author of this, on Bloomberg, because he says YouTube is already one of the top destinations for podcast listeners. The Joe Rogan Experience, one of the biggest podcasts in the world, has more than 11 million subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, but not the podcast, because it's a Spotify exclusive. Okay. Podcasting is a small business relative to online video. YouTube generated almost $20 billion in advertising sales last year, while the entire podcasting business didn't even top $1 billion.
You got half of that.
I don't know if that's an accurate number. But podcasting advertised sales are expected to double this year. Good news. Good news. That's good. Many of Google's competitors compete for podcast listeners: Spotify, Amazon, Apple. Yeah, I don't know what this means exactly, because I don't think a YouTube video is a podcast. Is it?
We upload our podcasts as a YouTube video.
Yeah, but then it becomes a YouTube video, right?
Right. Could we pull a YouTube video and turn it into a podcast?
You know what it is, Leo?
What?
It's a netcast.
Have we done the changelog yet?
Oh, you want to go home, don't you?
She is home.
No, I'm just like, where are we in this rundown?
Oh my God! You know what? People keep sticking stuff in here. That's the problem.
Twitter of rundowns.
That's the problem. It started. There was a dozen stories. Now there's like 120.
It's
150.
an algorithm did it. He only wants
Nice
5
work,
stories
Mr.
here,
Howe.
but there's 50 stories, and he hates it.
You know, on Tuesday, I literally went through the MacBreak Weekly rundown and took like half of it out. I meant to do that today, but I didn't.
You can do this here. I put stuff in there, and you can do with it.
But you put
want.
it in. I probably take it out. You put it back in.
No, I don't. Well, that was mean of you. I know this is not a democracy, and you are the dictator.
All right.
But I throw offerings to the altar of Leo and Twig.
You know, I appreciate that, because that's great. That's great. But the problem is I don't really have time between you doing that and going to the show to go through this and call it and put it in order and all that stuff. So.
I can put asterisks next to mine so you can
No,
ignore
it's
them.
fine. I just apologize. No, I'm just apologizing for my ineptness.
No, not at all.
That here we are 2 hours in. It's practically midnight. Stacy's passing out from lack of waffles, and we haven't even done the changelog. So that's just me saying I'm a bad man. I'm a bad host. Let's play the
I'm glad
Google.
there were things that interested me.
No, I'm going down the list. I'm too tired to be interested. It's time for
the Google changelog.
Well, we can cross this one out. We already did this. Google updating maps to help consumers save energy. How about this? The October security patch is rolling out. You know, I don't think that's true, because I just checked and I didn't have it. Oh, but I'm on 12, so this is for 11. So keep your eye peeled. We also did the two-factor authentication. Throw that one out. Google abandons plans to offer bank accounts to users.
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
You know who's offering bank accounts to users now? The U.S. Postal Service.
It should have been doing that years ago, but I don't trust a Joy to do it.
They want. It's not exactly bank accounts, but you can cash checks there and pay checks and stuff like that. They're interesting. So the former Google president who oversaw the project has begun his own fintech company, hiring away his staff from Google. They were going to work with. Basically, that's what people say Apple should do. They're so close already with the Apple Card. Google announced this 2 years ago, but
if you watch Billions, you know, you open a bank, then
you open a bank,
after you, and
you can't take that marijuana money. You can't take that marijuana money. I feel like he shouldn't really be liable for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Well, by the way, Chuck should have long been forced to have to recuse himself because of his wife's relationship.
The show doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. No. But it's still fun.
Yeah. YouTube Music is going to offer a free background listening in Canada.
I have no idea what this means. I didn't put this here. I don't know what this means.
So apparently, you
all
couldn't.
of Canada's a waiting room now.
You couldn't listen in the music in the background while you were doing other things on the phone or the screen is off. I didn't know that. That's a real limitation. That's terrible.
That is.
You could do it on Spotify, Apple Music. Everybody else lets you do that. So apparently you couldn't on YouTube Music, but now starting November 3rd in Canada, you'll be able to, and maybe that will extend. Oh, I see. It's free users. So premium users will be. We're able to do it, and I'm a premium user. That's why I didn't notice it.
Of course you are.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. I may, what do you want?
Just don't
engage.
Don't engage. Don't even participate.
Don't feed me.
Yeah. Feed the troll. Google Nest Cam floodlight and new $99 indoor camera available starting today. Do you like these, Stacy? I have Nest cameras in outside. I wouldn't put them inside, but I have them outside.
I remember I tried the new fancy indoor cam on the battery.
Yeah.
The software on this is really frustrating because it's now the Google Home software. So like when you go from a notification, sometimes you get sometimes you can see it, but sometimes you just go straight to your homepage and then you have to scroll through. I
think that's because it's battery, right? I think, is that right? You think?
No. It's just because Nest put everything into the Google Home, and there's a lot in the Google Home app.
You have you especially. You have a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. YouTube TV has settled its long-running battle with NBC. They're going to keep all the channels with no change to monthly fee. We didn't really talk about this. This is one of those ugly carriage battles.
You know who owns NBC, right?
Comcast.
And Comcast and Google, they fight on a lot of opposite sides.
Yeah. It was getting close. And of course, Sunday NBC had a big game where Tom Brady goes back to New England. That would have been a big problem if NBC had yanked its feed. Wouldn't just be that. NBC has a lot of other things. They started a website to pressure YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently, they've made a deal. Google says no price hike. It later emerged, according to 9 to 5 Google, that NBC wanted Google to bundle Peacock Premium into monthly consumer payments. This would have led subscribers to paying more, with Google in August committing to no price hikes in the near term because they've had some steep ones. It's $65 a month now. In announcing
that is low.
Is it? Well, it's low. It's cable money, right? $65 bucks?
It's exactly what the channels had been trying to do to the cable guys, right? So NBC
I know. This constantly happens, yeah.
Take our crap channel to go with our good channels.
Exactly. Oh, I see. You didn't mean low priced. You meant low behavior.
Yeah.
You confused me. Because $65. I said $65. You said that is low, and I thought, what are you talking about?
No, I'm saying forcing someone to bundle a crap channel like Peacock Premium.
Exactly. Yeah.
Only thing good on that is the Amber Ruffin show. Okay.
And Below Deck, which is pretty good. Google Search no longer supports Internet Explorer 11 because it is time.
I really want to be the spokesperson. Why?
It is time. The time has come to say goodbye to IE11, which has long been horribly insecure. As a web developer, one web developer, Cramforce on Twitter, tweeted, "This is one of the happiest announcements in a while." Good.
Simple pleasures.
Good. Yeah. And that, my friends, is the Google changelog. Coming up next, waffle time. But first, a word from CacheFly. Yes, our podcast is brought to you quite literally on CacheFly's content delivery network. When you download it, when you watch it on our website, when you subscribe to the podcast, CacheFly. They're the CDN that's been innovating content delivery since 1999, and I know that because when we were trying to get this thing off the ground and we were having so much trouble getting it to listeners, Matt Levine came by from CacheFly, one of the founders, and he said, "Hey, we can help," and they've been doing it ever since, more than 10 years. CacheFly's got something new that's really exciting. Ultra low latency streaming. This is not the WebRTC solution that's let you down in the past. Stream delays less than 1 second. But there's more. How about 1 million simultaneous concurrent streams in just thousands of synchronous streams? Talk about scalability. They've got a great HTML5 player that offers easy support anywhere. The SDK gives you access to websites, applications, mobile devices, any platform you want to put that player on. Really a great CDN, too. The 50 POPs distributed all over the world. And with their low latency network, your video streams will be streaming quickly anywhere you have viewers. Doesn't matter what continent they're on. Transmux thousands of streams simultaneously. Live failover. They can ingest RTMP, RTMPS, SRT, and more, deliver ultra-low latency SLDP and HLS streams at the same time. And, of course, one of the things we've really have always loved about CacheFly, they work with you to tailor their solution to your unique needs. Everybody's different. CacheFly knows that. In fact, if you go to them right now with your usage trends, maybe even if you've got a CDN right now, your current bill, they will say if you're overpaying, they will show you a way you can do this, spread the cost out so that even though your traffic might be spiky, they'll make sure that, the costs don't go out of control at any given time. They're just amazing. Go to twit.cachefly.com. They're giving away a completely free detailed analysis of your current CDN bill and usage trends. You may be overpaying 20% or more for a CDN. CacheFly, twit.cachefly.com, twit.cachefly.com. 1 million concurrent streams, less than 1 second latency, 5 times faster than the other CDNs, the world's most reliable CDN, backed by a 100% SLA. You just can't beat them. Twit.cachefly.com. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, CacheFly. You guys saved us and save us every day. Now, I think we can wrap this all up with some picks of the week. How about you, Stacy? Did you see anything you liked this week you want to tell the world about?
All right. Okay. This is a PSA and a showing off toys. PSA, holiday decorations, holiday gifts are going to be
soon.
Late. Like Black Friday, Target, Amazon, everybody's doing Black Friday in October because port shortages, worker shortages, like at FedEx places, chip shortages. Get
shortage.
decor in. Plus, the wildfires have made trees a likely shortage, so real trees. So if you're thinking, do I want to spend a lot of money on a real tree?
Christmas trees?
Fake tree?
Oh, my God. Of course, in Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry. This is bad news for the holidays, but good news for people who like to shop early. I don't know.
Do it now.
How about, I went out and got my holiday decor. I bought a fake tree for the first time ever.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that too. Yeah.
Just because I couldn't bear, Plus, I live in a place where I can go out and if I want the smell, I can just open my windows.
Yeah, Lisa says, you're right, you live there. Lisa says, well, get a wreath. It's okay.
That is my thing. Like, Andrew's like, just buy a wreath, but don't put it inside because we'll get the needles everywhere. I was like,
dude, it's not Christmas if it doesn't smell piney. Yeah, open the windows.
If you're
you can do that.
If you're not plucking the needles out of your socks, what are you doing, really?
Can't you just go take a tree from your yard?
Yes, that is. I could do that for like another 10 to 12 years, and then I'd be on good-sized trees.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, never mind. So what do you?
All right, so this is my pick.
Strings.
Trees.
Every year, I think I've done this pick before.
John loves the twinkly.
It's twinkly time.
Yes,
it's twinkly time.
These are the RGBW because the original RGBs, their white is yellow. It's not attractive.
Oh, that's not good.
This has a warm white light, and I bought a lot of these. These are expensive, y'all. These are $185. Mm-hmm. It is a great. I've had some for the last 3 years. They still work. They've been inside and outside. So 3 years of living, still doing okay. The fun stuff about them is I can't get it out of the box. I was going to plug it in so you could see them.
Well, we're looking at the dancer on the Twinkly site.
You might
I don't know
want
if
real
that really,
ones instead of just.
This isn't really a very good ad. I don't understand. This has nothing to do with Christmas. So these light up your house, right? They're Christmas lights.
Well,
or you
those
can
are
put
the
them on the
strings.
tree. Oh. Okay.
So my strings are not those strings. Those are actual like light strips. My strings are little lights.
Okay. Like Christmas lights. But they're Wi-Fi enabled.
Get out of the box.
Of course they are.
Yeah. But good advice. Do not get RGB LED because the white is not as yellowy.
The white is totally yellow. It's
so which
just
ones
not
should
good.
we get?
If that's important to you, they have RGBW special editions, which is what I got. Or you can get they call them their Elegance collection, and they're like golden white, and those also are fine, but they don't have any of the other colors. So why would you do that? But some people might be so fancy. My in-laws only put up white lights, so they might go for that. They might be like,
I like only the white lights myself.
See it? There you go. And
color is so tacky.
The Elegance collection for you.
Yeah, the Elegance. Yeah.
Okay, here they come.
No, I like
totally
that color. You should. Do you have a video anywhere, John, of your house Because last year he used twinklies to light it up.
Oh,
it was cool.
Yeah, do it, John.
Yeah. Huh. That's
Anyway,
all right. Don't worry
okay.
about it. Sorry, he's got other things to do.
There you go. So that's my pick. They're grossly expensive. They're a lot of
Wait a
fun.
minute. You never did get the box open, did you?
I did get the box open. I was ready to plug it in.
We missed that part.
What's all this?
That was a box
Oh,
opening.
you finally
that was
got it open. Okay, good.
It looks like a bunch of dynamite.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. So you're gonna be your indoor?
That's a
Is that
thumbnail.
indoor or outdoor? You're gonna do
A lot of lights.
These are outdoors. These are indoor outdoors, but we're wrapping. So we have this big oak tree.
Oh, that's
and
nice
I got
when you
these
wrap
to
a
wrap
tree.
the oak tree.
That's pretty.
And we're going to leave them up year round.
Good
So,
idea.
Like, I'll have Valentine's Day, Halloween.
You can have
whatever.
like a American flag for the 4th of July. You could do all sorts of
Pumpkin
stuff.
no American
spice
flags.
arrives.
Republicans have killed it. But yeah, so we're going to have lovely, lovely lights.
That
Oh,
is
but this was
lovely.
how I was going to show you. The thing to know
Yes.
when you're using these,
Yes.
they don't go end to end. So you have to buy as many as you want on one string.
Oh,
Then- Yeah, so
that's important.
it is important.
And
That's
can
why
you
I tell
get as many as you want on one string? I mean, is there a lot
I
of?
think you can get up to, like, this is, so I did get two 400s, but I'm going to have to plug them into both sides of the outlet.
Okay.
You want to see what I'm plugging them into, y'all?
Do you have a giant outlet?
The Lutron.
Oh, that's a good
Smart
idea.
outlet.
Then you don't have to go outside to turn on your oak tree.
Yeah, no, we never go outside. That's what the smart
Outside.
home's about.
Nice. John is
I
going
like
to show
you.
us.
No, this thing I can't plug it in.
John will show us what he did. Look at that. That's a front porch.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
and he's got it all. Isn't that pretty?
Nice little patterns.
Yeah. And you do that with your phone.
Your phone.
Yeah, on the app. It's really cool.
Is that a head?
Also now have a music thing that you can plug into it.
Don't ask.
You don't want to know. Never mind.
The stories Jammer B tells.
I think it's a plant. Is it a plant, John? Yeah, it's a planter with a dead plant.
Oh,
It's winter.
It's winter. It was Christmas. It was very nice pick. Twinklies. Look
they're
at
on the left. It looks like a head with.
Oh, on the left. Oh,
Yeah,
that
the
is
left at
that
the
is a
bottom.
head. Yeah. No, I think that's my kidney.
Is it shrunken?
It's a shrunken head. Jeff Jarvis has a number. Well, you don't have to.
Oh, let's see.
It doesn't have to be a number. You could be anything you
No, it
want.
doesn't. I'm gonna mention since you did a book earlier. I'm gonna mention Matthew Kirschenbaum, who wrote the book that you and I like called Track Changes. Has a new book
All
out,
about word processors, which is really nerdy.
which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is about the future of digital literary heritage.
Oh,
When he says, "What is textual scholarship when the text of our everyday speech is a transitive verb as often as it is a noun?" So I want to mention that. Also, while I'm plugging, I want to plug the Black Media Report just out today from the Center for Community Media at my very school, the Craig Newmark.
thank you, Craig. Thank you.
The blackmediareport.journalism.cuny.edu, which has a bunch of really amazing stats about how black media versus mainstream media cover the things that matter to all of us now. So within coronavirus coverage, black media wrote 5 times more than mainstream media on the
Wow.
disproportionate racial impact of the pandemic. Nearly twice as much as mainstream media on frontline and essential workers. Nearly 1 in 4 articles in black media mention racism-related issues, but less than 1 in 10 in mainstream media, and on and on and on, which all shows how we need to support. I think mainstream media, mass media has had its chance, and now it's time to support Latino media, black media, indigenous media, and other media that to serve these communities better than mass media has.
Are they primarily online, or are there print publications too? Or
Oh no, lots of print. The history of black media goes back to 1827. The first newspaper published and owned by and for black Americans in the U.S. in New York, of course, because we're the center of the damn universe. That's where everything happens.
all right,
Of course.
all right. 97 different media sources for study, so that's cool. Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Aunt Pruitt. It's time for Pruitt's pick.
I'm going to pivot off of Mr. Jarvis because there's an app that I just found out about a week or so ago. It's called Blap. And it's basically allowing you to find Black-owned businesses in your area. And
I was using Okra but I think it was restaurants, right? Yeah, it was restaurants.
Yeah, this is everything, not just restaurants. Yeah. And it was quite surprising, some of the stuff that I found in there, because I didn't know. And I try to support local businesses around here. But fact of the matter, a lot of the Black-owned businesses suffered the most during the pandemic. And it would be nice to throw a bone that way and help those businesses continue to grow and thrive just like everybody else. So, yeah, it's a free app on Android and iOS. Blap.
B-L-A-P-P. B-L-A-P-P.
B-L-A-P-P. And next up, Adobe Max is free again this year. I wanted to give them a shout out as they shouted me out on Twitter with the Cameo, apparently.
Nice.
But it's free again. It's virtual. It's October 26th through the 28th. I've signed up for a couple classes just out of curiosity because they always have a lot of updates and stuff with AI and just to try to make things faster for content creators. And, of course, they have their keynotes featuring
look who they've got,
a lot of interesting people as usual. Neistat and Keenan.
Yeah. Wow, this looks great.
Aaron Draplin.
So this is normally a paid conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in person.
Virtual. They're doing it free.
Really good. This might be the last virtual one. I imagine they'll get back to that.
I miss going. I love going.
Yeah.
We usually have it in L.A., and it's nice to be able to see a lot of these creators that I enjoy seeing them face to face and sit down with them and hanging out or whatnot. And the lovely Miss Lisa Carney, who was previously on Hands On Photography, was able to hang out with her, and it's just great to meet in person.
They got Chloe Zhao, who did Nomadland, the director, Tilda Swinton, the actress, Kenan Thompson, the comedian, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Wow. Jose Andres, the chef, Young Thug. I think
the last time I was there, they had Dave Grohl there and Annie Leibovitz.
Really cool.
They have quite the speaker
Burt
budget.
Munroy.
They do. Adobe. Now I know where my Adobe Creative Cloud money's going.
That's where your licensing fees go.
Clearly.
Wow. Holy cow. I think people also love Adobe and they want to speak there, I imagine. Riz Ahmed, love him.
You want to show the Cameo that they sent me?
Yeah, where's that?
It's right up under my pick.
They sent you a Cameo
on Twitter there.
What is a Cameo? A little Cameo thing. Oh no. Oh, that's hysterical. We were talking about this.
Out of the office, October 26th to the 28th.
Wait a minute, let me go back here.
Hey to the people who work with Ant. It's me, Kate Flannery, Meredith from the office. Ant will be out of the office October 26th to the 28th,
hysterical.
attending the Creativity Conference, Adobe Max. Ant will be so busy being inspired, he won't even have time to listen to his favorite podcast, Somehow I Manage, let alone respond to email. So please, somehow his listeners and coworkers will have to manage without him. So Ant is unavailable due to Adobe Max.
Somehow I Manage is, of course, Micah Sargent's Office podcast. And if she is, of course, Meredith from The Office.
I love that podcast. I love that podcast. I listen to it.
Is he still doing it? I thought he stopped. He's still doing it?
He's not doing it, but his teammate was. Miss Tiff Armin. She's still doing it.
Oh, Tiffany Armin's doing it. Oh, good. Somehow I Manage podcast. No wonder she loves that. That's hysterical. She's probably, the topic of conversation.
It's so
And
funny.
we had been talking about Cameo and the fact that Meredith was on there on the show, and they must have been watching. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Oh, my God. Somehow I Managed has gotten up to season 7, the end of season 7 with Michael Scott leaving.
Yep.
Wow, they're almost
just
done.
listened last week. He got into the airport and tried to leave without saying goodbye.
I remember that. That was the end of that show for me. I'm sorry.
No, it was still good.
Oh, I don't know. The Michael Scott era is the
Dwight.
best era. Yeah, you can't. How can you not love Dwight? And you're still going to New Orleans. They've rescheduled you?
Yes, we are rescheduling for January.
Good.
And
good.
So yeah, go on down there and hang out with us and learn about food photography, concert photography, or in my instance, street and night photography. And we'll have a good old time and eat, drink, be merry, and shoot some photographs.
Wanderers Photographic Experiences in
That's
New
right.
Orleans, wanderersphoto.com if you want to know more. That would be so much fun.
Looking forward to it.
Look, you're right there at the number one on the list, ahead of Steve Brazil and Freddie Clark and Andrew Scrivani. That's great. Wow, I'm impressed, Ant.
It's going to be fun.
You're
I
a
believe
big shot.
one of the locations is it Dookie Chase? That's where one of the locations we're going to shoot.
Is that a
Supposedly
restaurant? What is that?
Yeah, a really popular dive.
Oh, fun.
From what I understand.
Oh,
It's gonna be
fun. Oh, I love New Orleans. Oh, man.
I've
I'm
never
jealous.
been, so I'm looking forward to
Oh,
it.
God, you're going to have some great food. The
Going to
music
come back
is
about
amazing.
20 pounds heavier.
Yeah, go over to Frenchman Street. Don't get stuck in the Bourbon Street.
Well, we'll be staying around the corner from Bourbon Street. The hotel is around the corner.
Yeah, that's where.
That's just where people go to barf.
Yeah.
There's tons of great restaurants.
The best bands are on Frenchman Street. The best music. It's a wonderful musical street. It's a great town. I love New Orleans.
Oh yeah, we also have a second line. Is that what it's called? Second line band.
Oh, fun!
Like a parade with music.
You get to follow them through the quarter. Oh my
we
gosh!
will have one of them. Yes,
How
that's part
fun!
of the event. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. You could pretend it's your funeral. Do it
right.
Yeah, that's great.
My friend had a second line at their wedding.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
just for
Oh, really?
funerals.
So yeah, I've only heard of it for funerals. Cool. So yeah,
I want it for my funeral. That'd be so cool. They're just joyous. They're
Celebration.
dancing. They're playing the music. That would be so great.
celebration.
Yeah. Thank you, Aunt Pruitt. Hands-on photographies at twit.tv/hop. Don't forget, 10 a.m. on Friday, Pacific time. Steve Gibson's Ask Me Anything in our Club Twit. Aunt will be moderating. That'll be fun. Appreciate it, Aunt. Appreciate
We can also tease that we're going to be sitting down with you on the 22nd. So.
Lisa and I will be doing an Inside Twit the following week.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute.
that's
November
another-
22nd, not this.
No.
October 22nd. Okay, good.
October 22nd. We're going to sit down
boy.
with you and Mrs.
Oh, boy.
Laporte. Members only content, so sign up for the club.
Oh, boy. Jeff Jarvis is the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Frank Sinatra called him a bum, former TV guide, critic, Buzz Machine.
So did Leo earlier in the show.
You bum. I didn't call you a bum. I never called you a bum. Ray Kroc called him a nickel millionaire.
What it was, but that's all right.
He was once asked to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Google does not pay him. So there you go. We got it all in there. Got it all in there. Mother of Dragons, Stacey Higginbotham. Well, there's one dragon anyway. Stacey on IoT.com.
Where did that come from?
The
I was
chat
like, where
room.
did this mother of dragons
I'm
come
just
from?
reading whatever's on the chat room. That's what I do, man. That's it. If
Hi,
you
chat room.
if you have not yet subscribed to her newsletter, go to StaceyOnIoT.com and subscribe. It's free. Take a look at the events coming up. RF Sensing, is that going to be, can we listen to that online, the event you did last week?
Oh, yeah, it's up on YouTube.
Nice.
Sweet.
It's super nerdy. I'm gonna, but if you're really nerdy, you're gonna.
I am
love
sure it's super nerdy.
Speaking of the nerds,
Yeah.
you're the queen of the nerds.
She is the nerdy Stacey Higginbotham. And we say that with the best. It's the best.
Freaking
thing.
love it.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
nerdy.
I'm not insulted by that. Don't.
No.
There's an accent.
Yeah.
Nerdy.
We're proud to know that.
Nerdy.
It's spelled nerdy, but it's
Nerday.
pronounced nerday.
With a bit of geekiness. I'm going for it. Yeah.
We do this show every Wednesday about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us do it live at twit.tv/live. There's audio and video there if you're watching live, chat live. Our free chat room is irc.twit.tv. Our club members can chat as well in the Discord. We love that Discord. Don't forget, if you're not a Club Twit member, $7 a month gets you ad-free versions of all our shows. The Discord, the Twit Plus feed, the special events, and all of that's available at twit.tv/clubtwit. After the fact, we put the show up on the website, twit.tv/twig. You can also watch it on YouTube. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel dedicated to This Week in Google. And, of course, the best way to listen or watch would be to subscribe. That way you get the podcast automatically the minute it's available. And if your podcast program allows reviews, please give us a 5-star review. Tell the world what about the goodness that is This Week in Google. Last week, you had Nikki Anderson on, and everybody in the chat room saying, "Oh, don't forget about that one. It's really good. You got to watch Hands-On Photography last week." So I'll give you an extra plug.
Yeah, he was great. This week we're going to get into some more listener feedback. So, yeah, if you're listening to the show and you have feedback, there's a strong chance that your feedback may be a part of the show. So check it out.
Nick's a pet photographer, so if you want to get better pictures of your pup, that's a good way to do it. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks so much. We will see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Android is constantly evolving, and if you're part of the Android faithful, then you'll be just as excited about it as I am. I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android, along with my co-hosts Florence Ion and Ron Richards, where every week we cover the news, we cover the hardware, and we cover the apps that are driving the Android ecosystem. Plus, we invite people who are writing about Android, talking about Android, and making Android onto the show. Every Tuesday at twit.tv, look for All About Android.